Hello and welcome back to another Rush Duel Links video. With maximums just around the corner, I thought I would make a video explaining what are maximums, what are their strengths and weaknesses, how do you maximum summon a maximum monster, and give you kind of the lowdown on how the cards work, so that when we get our hands on them on the 28th of February, you'll be well prepared to use them going forward. So to start out, what is a maximum monster? A maximum monster is a powerful monster made up of 3 cards. These cards can be normal summoned as regular monsters with the stats listed on the cards, or they can be maximum summoned as an extremely powerful monster. So how do we maximum summon a maximum monster? You can only maximum summon by having all 3 of the correct pieces in your hand. That means you have to have 1 center piece, 1 left piece, and 1 right piece all in your hand at the same time. Any monsters on your field are sent to the graveyard to make room for the new maximum summoned maximum monster. Maximum monsters take up all 3 monster slots, which means when you do maximum summon a maximum monster, you will not be able to summon any other monsters, but you can still tribute over your maximum monster as 1 tribute. So if you do have a level 5 or 6 monster, you can tribute your maximum monster to summon it out. So what is maximum mode? So when a maximum monster is maximum summoned, it is in maximum mode. This will come up occasionally when an effect or a requirement basically say that you have to be in maximum mode or it has to target a card that is in maximum mode. What this means is that if we were to just normal summon or tribute summon out our other maximum pieces individually, those cards are not in maximum mode and thus will not receive any bonus abilities, and any cards that only affect cards in maximum mode will not affect them. So how do maximum monsters work? So all maximum monsters have 0 defense points, and when maximum monsters are in maximum mode, they do not have defense points. They're very similar to Link monsters in this regard, where they just straight up do not have a defense value, and they cannot be in defense mode. While in maximum mode, maximum monsters use the maximum attack stat that is stated on the middle center maximum piece. Maximum monsters can only attack once unless stated otherwise, which means you'll only have 1 attack for the turn instead of the traditional 3 that you would have if you had 3 separate monsters. So what happens to a maximum when it leaves the field? No matter how the maximum is removed from the field, all 3 pieces will go to the same place. This means if the maximum is returned to the hand with something like compulsory evacuation device, all 3 pieces are returned to the hand. If maximum are returned to the top of your deck, such as an effect like Rise of the Storm Monarch, then again, all 3 maximum pieces go to the top of your deck together. If a maximum monster would go to the graveyard, again, all 3 are sent there together. So, one of the strengths of maximum monsters is that they have a load of attack, and that means that a lot of the time it's going to be easier to destroy them with effects, but maximum monsters do have a couple layers of protection. Most maximum monsters have a line of text on them saying, this card cannot be destroyed by trap cards, which is a little bit frustrating because that means something like Widespread Ruin cannot affect a maximum monster. On top of the fact that maximum monsters are level 10. And what that also means is any card that affects level 8 or lower or level 9 or lower monsters will not affect a maximum monster. An example of this would be Royal Rebel's Heavy Metal. Heavy Metal states that it can only destroy level 8 or lower monsters, which means it cannot be used on level 10 maximum monsters. And this is a common form of soft protection that monsters get. Typically maximum monsters are level 10, which means there'll be a lot of cards that only affect level 9 or 8 and lower monsters in order to exclude maximum monsters from their effects, which gives them, again, soft protection. And again, when fusions are released a little bit in the future, a lot of the beginning fusions, and most of the fusions in general, are level 9, which means, again, they have this level of soft protection where anything that affects 8 and lower won't affect them, but anything that affects 9 or lower will, which means they don't have protection against the exact same things that maximum do, but they do still have this extra layer of protection. So, how do you deal with a maximum? So the most common option is going to be destroying them with an effect. Now obviously, most maximums say they cannot be destroyed by traps, but a lot of maximums can be destroyed by spell and monster effects. So 2 examples of this right now would be for dragons, Dragonic Pressure is a good way to just destroy maximum monsters, as well as for machines, the Ace Breaker is a great way to pop maximum monsters. The other way to really deal with them is to attack over them. Now maximum monsters do have a ton of attack. The maximum monsters that we know are coming out have 3,400, 3,500, and 4,000 attack respectively, which means you need to be able to get over 4,000 attack to competently be able to out maximum monsters. Going forward, we will have multiple effects that do lower your opponent's monsters and boost your own monsters, but as for right now, we are quite limited in what options we have. Good options for reaching these high numbers would be something like 7's Red Magician, which can reach 3,900 attack and thus would only need a small boost from something like a Speedy Performer to clear a maximum monster. Noodle Ninjas, and to a lesser extent Diabolic King Beetle, can also boost attack, which is a good way to get above that 4000 attack threshold. And Machines have the Ultimate Bond skill, which can boost one of their 25 or 2600 attack monsters up to 35 or 3600 attack, which again is only a little bit underneath your Drago, so if you're able to use any kind of strengthening or any kind of weakening, you can get over that 4000 threshold. So which maximum monsters are we planning to see on release? Well, the first one is called Supreme Machine Magnum Overlord. This was Yuga's first ace maximum monster in the 7th anime. It's a dark machine type monster that cannot be destroyed by your opponent's trap card effects, can gain attack equal to the difference between your life points and your opponent's life points until the end of the turn, and can gain attack equal to the level of one face-up monster on your opponent's field times 200. What you've probably noticed here is that all of these effects boost its attack, and that's basically what this monster does. It is a comeback monster that you want to draw as late into the game as possible and try and OTK your opponent with. If your difference in your life points, so let's say 5000, he'll gain 5000 attack, and if your opponent has a high level monster on the field, let's say level 8 for example, it'll gain an extra 1600 attack. So that would be 6600 attack on top of its already 3500 attack, and you've got well over 10,000 attack to try and crash into your opponent's monster and take out all of their life points. The next maximum monster we'll talk about is Nail's maximum monster, and this was the first maximum monster ever shown and featured in the 7th anime. So Yggdrago the Sky Emperor cannot be destroyed by your opponent's trap card effects, can send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard to destroy one face-up level 8 or lower monster on your opponent's field, and this is another one of those effects that will not affect other maximum monsters. And finally, we can send the top 3 cards of our deck to the graveyard to change one defense position monster on your opponent's field to face-up attack position, which is a great way to get your opponent's life points if they are just setting 3 monsters and passing, which makes the Drago feel like the most control-oriented maximum monster, as even if your opponent tries to stall you out, you still have a way to get to the life points, which is something that Magnum Overlord does not. And finally, and arguably the most surprising maximum monster that we'll be getting, is the Harpy Ladies. So this is a much more modern maximum monster which has not been featured in the 7s or Go Rush anime. These are 3 level 5 2100 attack point monsters, and this is already quite interesting, as the other 2 earlier maximum monsters had a centerpiece that's level 10, and these side pieces were low level normal summonable monsters. So Harpy Ladies was quite a departure from this, so it's quite interesting we're getting this so early. But we can shuffle 2 Wind Attribute Wing Beast type monsters from our graveyard into the deck. One face-up monster on your field gains 500 attack until the end of this turn. Then if this card is in maximum mode, we can inflict 500 damage to our opponent. So a 2100 attack monster that can go up to 26 is pretty good. Next up we have Harpy Ladies L. This card's name becomes Harpy Ladies, and it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's trap card effects. Then, if this card is in maximum mode, increase its level by 5. So that gets us back to the level 10 that all maximums are, and does protect it from trap card effects, which is pretty standard for maximum monsters. And then finally, this card's name becomes Harpy Ladies, and it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's monster's effects. Then, if this card is in maximum mode, it can make up to 3 attacks on monsters each turn. So what this means is, Harpy Ladies cannot be popped by Ace Breaker, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, it does only have 3400 attack during opponent's turn, which does mean if they use the Ultimate Bond skill, they can still attack over it, but this is still a monster that can attack 3 times. Without access to piercing, this is still a little bit lackluster, because although you can clear your opponent's board, you can't get to the life points, but using the Pierce card, this could be a bit of a menace. So, what are the strengths and weaknesses of maximum monsters? So, the strength are always going to be massive attack values. A lot of decks will struggle to hit these 3500 or 4000 attack values that they need to in order to clear these maximum monsters, as well as trap protection. The not being able to be destroyed by trap cards is very, very relevant, especially in a widespread ruin meta. Finally, the fact that they're level 10 does make them very, very difficult to get rid of, because again, a lot of effects only affect level 8 and lower monsters. So what are the maximum weaknesses? Well, most of the time they can only attack once per turn. Obviously, Harpy Ladies is an exception to the rule, but the other 2 can still only attack once. They can struggle to inflict damage to your opponent's life points. Again, without access to a Pierce card, 2 of the 3 maximums we're getting really struggle to get to your opponent's life points. And finally, you need to find all 3 pieces in order to actually maximum summon out the monsters, which means a lot of the time you might find that you only have 2 pieces in your hand, and you have to make the decision whether or not you want to get rid of them from your hand so you can draw back up to 5, or whether or not you hoard them and only drawing 3 cards the following turn, which is a little bit of a gamble and can make them feel rather clunky. So what maximum monsters can we expect in the near future? I think the one that makes the most sense is Worm Excavator the Heavy Cavalry Draco. And that is because this is Asana's ace monster, and we're expecting her to come soon as possibly the next playable character after Nail. The other 7's era maximum monsters that we would expect to see are going to be Dynamic Dino Dynamics, Hyper Engine Vast Vulcan, Supreme Skystream Magnum Overlord, and Great Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius Burst. But saying that, the Harpy Ladies are a Go Rush era maximum monster, which means that Konami could decide to bring any of the future maximum monsters early into Duel Links. So this was a quick look at what maximum monsters are, how to use them, and hopefully this helps you going forward. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hello everyone, welcome to another Tomato Sauce stream. Today we have such exciting news. We have box reveals, we have skill leaks, we have the new nail event in the game, which is all great. Downside is today we are still going to be on speed, which again we love speed, don't want to like downplay that, but we really want to play with the new rush stuff, but there aren't that actual many new rush cards to play. The new nail cards that we have access to that we can get as drops just don't do anything yet. We need Nail to come out as a character, we need the new box, so there's not actually going to be a ton to actually do just yet. But we had the raid from Shui. Thank you so much for the raid, Shui. Always appreciate it. We saw Shui was grinding the ladder himself with the Psychic deck, which I am always very happy to see people playing like the non-meta decks, because it's very easy for everyone to just pick up like Dragon Aggro, right? It's very easy for people to just pick up Spellcasters and just do really well. But whenever you see some of those people that are really grinding with those lower tier decks and getting results, it's always really good to see. I mean, I really want Psychics to be good. I've really been trying. I don't actually think I made a Psychic deck breakdown because I just trying to get wins on that deck is just so hard. Like, the deck can win, obviously, and it does do okay, but like the amount of effort versus the amount of reward you get is just a bit off. But who else we got here? We got Corino. Welcome on in. We got Drags in here as always. We have the one, the only, the Dr. Alex. We have Grand Harrier. We have Negative Impact. We have Fee Fi Fo Flow. Welcome all in. I'm really looking forward to all the Psychic support in the next box. Yeah, right, let's get this out of the way now. My biggest disappointment with the new box is that it is a mini box. And as people in my Discord server were saying, it does make sense to have the maximums in a mini box, because that way people can get their hands on the mechanic easier, right? They're already going to give us copies of Harpy Lady Sisters, so I'm like, that's good. Then getting access to the others easier because they're in a mini box is better, but it means less cards. Less cards means less of a meta shake-up. Like, I don't know, I really wanted more support. I wanted more Harpy support, wanted some Psychic support, especially since we're getting 2 Psychic skills. No cards. What's that about? It's just kind of weird. I love female-oriented decks. Psychic are basically all female. Yeah, I mean, Psychics aesthetically, really, really cool. Psychics mechanically, really, really cool. It's just, they're being held back, right? Like, we've only got 1 Roman pick, which the reason for that is other decks would then use multiple Roman picks in their own. They'd use, like, the Roman pick engine, which is something that did happen quite a lot in the physical game. But it just leaves Psychic feeling underwhelming. They've even given them some really broken skills, but they haven't been enough. We need to give Psychic an even more broken skill, and we need to give them some more cards. Maybe when we get the Candy stuff, it will all shake up. They'll all come together. Fingers crossed. But it's like, when are we going to get that stuff? Maybe it'll be with the next box, which we're assuming the next box is going to be Asana. And the worms. Worms, by the way, fantastic. Absolutely love the worms. And if they come out full power, that's going to be really, really exciting. What else we got? We have 23 flip, but you have to release this rush mode in a speed duel game. It was never going to have the most attention and be pushed. You are 100% correct. I think most people agree that we would much rather have rush duel in its own game, but I think as we've seen, like with cross duel, they're now a bit more hesitant. They're happier to put it somewhere it will slot in and be kind of safe, and Duel Links is very safe, right? On top of the fact that it does kind of fit, right? Speed duels and rush duels are similar in a lot of ways. Obviously, one is way more developed than the other one because it's been around for a lot longer than the other, so it's a little bit tricky with that. A mini is meh. but I would have loved more support for decks that actually aren't doing great currently. Yeah, I'm still waiting for that Volt Condor support. Now, we did get, like, what, one new card? I mean, I guess you could argue the, I've already forgotten what called, the 1500 Vanilla for Wing Beasts is a support card for it, but we did get the trap card, which is something, but Wing Beasts don't tend to have a lot of attack, so reducing your opponent's monster's attack is good into, like, 2500s, but against, like, Ancient Arise or Maximums doesn't actually do anything, so it's a bit awkward. Hello, Bakura, and not make Rebels even stronger, also looks like Dinos coming soon. Yes, Dinos, I'm so excited for Dinos. And Rebels as well have gone from, I think most people that have played through the Rebel/Maximum era or just know how the cards work, like, will be like, well, Rebels are completely useless against Maximums. Man, this is crazy. And now, it feels like Rebels are going to be the #1 counter to Maximums, which is very weird. And I kind of love that they've done that, whilst at the same time being like, this is very strange. And Dinosaurs, I'm so excited for. I am unbelievably excited for Dinosaurs. I am a dinosaur player through and through. I was actually expecting them to wait, because they hadn't released them until this point, to bring them out when they do get their fusion and their maximum, and just kind of release it as one big dino bundle. But it seems like that's not going to be the case. I think that Rex is too late to really do anything. I think even if it came out in step 1, it would have been a bit struggle street. But I am still going to jam them, because I just love the dinos. We'll see what we can do with that. For me, as a dominant speed duelist, it's perfect. I can slowly gather rush cards. I mean, yeah. It's the flip side that I have, right? Where I really like speed. And I really... Thank you for the follow, Dorai. I really want to, and that is the goal complete, woo-woo. But I really want to grow my speed collection. But as a rush player, it's awkward, right? Because I'm like, I want to save all my gems for the rush, but then rush doesn't come out for ages. But then I do get those leftover gems to spend on speed, so it does kind of work out in my favor. Own gain or use gold to buy cards. I keep hearing this argument about using gold, and I understand why. Everyone has like a crap ton of gold, but like, I just feel like the prices would be completely bonkers. I think they would have either had to just introduce a brand new currency or just do what they've done. At least something cool with dinos. Exactly. Yeah, I really, really want the dinos to be good, but until we get their trap cards, they're not going to do anything until we get probably at least the maximum. Realistically, they need all the maximum and the fusion, and even then, they're barely playable, right? Now, I love them, but unless they get like some bonkers skill, they are still very mid. Knowing the cards that we are getting now, the Royal Rebel skill feels ridiculously broken. Yes, I feel exactly the same. In fact, let's I guess we'll hop over and take a look at the skills, right? Why not? We go over to our Chrome. So let's look at the leaks first, because these are nice and short, right? So we have the first thing we're going to take a look at is leaked cards. So we don't know exactly how we're getting these, but we kind of have an idea, right? So my assumption would be that these cards are going to be part of a like lottery type event. You know, one of those, you just get tokens, you roll on the gacha, you get the stuff, or these are going to be ranked rewards. It's going to be one or t'other. It's going to be a very uninteresting way to earn them. But Super King Rex, my boy, love this card. 2500 attack, 2000 events. During the main phase, you normal special summons. That is very key, because there will be often times when you can special summon this card. You can send top card of deck to the graveyard, special summon a level 6 or lower dinosaur type monster from your graveyard. It has to be a normal monster, and the best target for that is going to be Megazawla. There is one card that is better than this that we have access to in the physical game, which has 2000 attack, but even so, 2000 attack is not that much higher than 18 realistically. If it was 21, that would be a lot better, but, you know, that's what it is. And then Little D's just hanging out. Little D's not going to do anything realistically. We just forget about him. Then we have Perceptical Money, which is an interesting one. I actually forgot this card existed. So this is 2300 attack, which is really bad for level 7. Shuffle 2 monsters from your graveyard into the deck. 1 face-up monster on your opponent's field loses attack equal to the number of face-up Cyberse monsters on your field times 300. This caps out at 900, which is okay, right? But if you are staring down a Yggdrago, you're only going to weaken it down to 31, and you still can't deal with it. So it's interesting, but we do actually have one of our new skills. Which one is it? Is it Beyond Curiosity? No, it's not that one. One of these skills. Cannot for life remember which one it is. It's the one which like makes them... Here we go, this one, Maximum Ragnarok. The opponent's field, the chosen monster loses 800 attack, shoots 2 tributes. So you can make it lose like an extra 800. So you could put it down to 31 and then make it lose an extra 8, which would put it down to 24. So, you know, that's not right mass at all. That'd be 23, which means you could then crash into it with money, which is something. If you've got another boss monster, you could also make that work. Morning, hello. I can't kill anyone. Welcome on in. Dino will be March rank rewards, I reckon. Yes, probably. Yugdrago seems way stronger than Machine Lord IMO. Yeah, in some ways, yes. In other ways, no, right? Because basically, Magnum Overlord is supposed to be the counter to Yugdrago, and it is, right? Yugdrago's effects don't work on Magnum Overlord. Magnum Overlord also does just have abilities that hard counter Yugdrago, right? Gaining difference in life points is one thing, but also gaining attack based on your opponent's level. Obviously, you get the biggest boost of that if your opponent's playing a maximum monster, so it does sort of work against that. And that's what it's meant to be in the show, right? Like, Nail makes this unbeatable monster, completely destroys Yuga, and then Yuga makes Magnum Overlord as a counter to Yugdrago. 4K Beta is obviously better than Machine. Yes, in a like default game state and against just most decks, it is going to just be better, right? Just having more attack is better. Having a way to get to your opponent's life points without having to rely on any other cards is better. Being able to pop cards is fine, right? Realistically, you're going to most of the time be changing monsters into attack mode, just attacking over them, but, you know, it's fine. We got Quantum Hole. Quantum Hole is a cool card as well. It's obviously just filtering, but it gets you to your maximums, which is the main thing. The effects seem stronger too, I mean, yeah. Little D! Little D! Yeah, Little D is a really weird card as well. I don't know why they waited this long to release it when we already have Mammoth Graveyard. I guess Mammoth Graveyard had the, like, retro appeal that Little D just kind of doesn't. Don't forget to pick up Uraby from the trader. I tried to pick it up already, but he wasn't available. I did pick up the Madolche link, though, which is always quite nice. Well, what else do we have here? We have Particle Acceleration, which is, if you have a face-up Cyberburst monster on your field, destroy a spell trap. I mean, we did need this card at some point. This is probably going to be a level up reward. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 of these are level up rewards for now. Let's face it. Marnie, I don't know where this is going to be on the level up scale. Maybe like at the 19 or whatever it was. These 2 are just going to be the other ones. We haven't seen any other way to get Femtron yet, so this has got to be a level up reward. Let's face it. Let's look at the skills in a little bit, I think. I don't think we should dive into the skills just yet. We can just look at the event rewards first. These are cards that we actually have access to now. Yeah, these 3 should be level ups. Do Winged Beasts not have Spell Trap Destruction? Because I noticed they didn't get them in the set. So they do, and it is a card called... Oh god, I'm trying to remember what it's called now. It's called... Oh, what is it called? Avian Spell Strategy. Here we go. So the reason this card isn't out yet is because this is not just Winged Beasts, but also the Warriors. They've combined them because of reasons. And this is a big part of Gavin's deck, because Gavin in the show, or Gakuto, uses a lot of Winged Beasts as well as his Warriors, and it all kind of fits into the pun naming convention that he has that doesn't really make a lot of sense in the English version, but in Japanese it's all pun related, and it's all, you know, Winged Beasts and Warriors working together. But yeah, we haven't got this, I assume, just because they don't want to give Warriors access to this card for whatever reason. But yeah, we can destroy a spell trap on the opponent's field, then place 1 level 8 or lower Warrior or Winged Beast type monster from your graveyard on top of your deck. So that's the Blue Falcon back row removal they didn't give us. I mean, yep, I guess. But yeah, we have access to these 2 new cards. But again, if we look at Atron quick, right? If you have no other monsters on your field and have Femtron in your graveyard, well, you physically can't have Femtron in your graveyard, so this card actually doesn't do anything. But we can send this card to the graveyard and draw a card, so it's just cycles. And then the other card, which actually does do something, at the very least. If your opponent has a face-up level 5 or higher monster on the field, reveal up to 2 Cyberburst type monsters in your hand. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to the number of those monsters revealed. Meet this requirement times 300. So it's a little burn. The burn is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the burn. The main thing about this card, it is a 0 defense, 2500 attack monster. And that is the most important thing, because that means it does work with the Nail skill. But, yeah, part of me was like, I want to play Rush today. But, like, these are the only new cards we got. Like, what do you do with these, right? I mean, Uraby we got, but I can't get it yet. So it's like, it doesn't mean anything. But if we go and take a look at the new box, this is where stuff gets interesting. I wonder what the chance of my opponent actually maximum summoning is. Well, right now, 0%, because they can't. But when the box comes out, or I guess tomorrow is when we are supposed to be getting the Harpy Ladies. So tomorrow might be when we can start seeing maximum summoning, but I don't know if we're getting all of the pieces at once, or if we're just getting one piece per day or something. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. But these cards are very interesting. Obviously, Harpy's Pet Dragon was a weird one. And this card, actually, I think, was... This card is annoying, right? And the reason I say that is because we saw this card leaked with a skill. And upon seeing that, the general consensus was, oh, if we're getting Harpy's Pet Dragon, we'll get more Harpy support. No, we're just getting Harpy's Pet Dragon. The only other thing I think you could even say is maybe Harpy support is the Counter Pigeons and the Faith Bird, but, I mean, barely. But Harpy's Pet Dragon is not awful. People do play this card in physical, not very much, but it does see some play. Gains attack equal to the number of face-up Harpies on your field times 300, and Harpy Lady Sisters times 900. So a lot of the time you're just going to be spamming out the Harpy Lady Sisters, so it will gain 1800 attack, and being 3800 is pretty good. Other than that, there's not really much to say about it. 2500 defense does actually make this card usable, even with no Harpy Ladies, because you can just tribute set it out and then watch your opponent struggle to get over it. I mean, anyone that's played the current game knows that Yami Ruler can be a pain in the ass to deal with. So there's that. A more interesting card is Thunder Cavalry Trigger Drago. Send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. Gain 300 attack at the end of this turn. Then if your opponent has no cards in the hand, inflict piercing. So a lot of the time your opponent's not going to have a card in their hand. And if we're able to get into a situation where we're destroying all of their monsters by attacking into them every turn, we will get this piercing off more often than not. Having piercing is always really good, and 2800 attack is not a bad stat to hit. Obviously, it could be better. It's just arguably a worse Ancient Arise Dragon, but it's still pretty decent, and it does have a skill. Then we obviously have Yggdrago and Supreme Machine Magnum Overlord. We kind of already talked about these cards at length, but we knew they were going to be in it, and the most interesting thing is that they're both limit 3. I don't know what you would want to play in these decks that's also limit 3. Like, something tells me you're not just going to start jamming, like, Dragius in here, but, you know, limit 3, whatever. Then we get into some more of the interesting cards. Rising Light Angel Essel. So this is a fairy-type monster. 1000, 1000, level 4. During a turn, you have not special summoned a monster. Send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Then if you activate this effect during the first turn of the second... Let's try and speak. Then if you activated this effect during the first turn of the second player, so if you're going second and you activate it on your first turn, you can special summon one monster from either graveyard face up to your field. So this is a going second card, and this is actually very modern. I want to say this came out not that long ago. It's definitely like the last 6 months. It might have even been like the last 3 months. I think it was about 4 or 5 months ago this card came out. So this is a very, very modern card. And this was considered a side deck card, right? If you know you're going second, or you predict that your opponent's going to make you go second, you jam this card in your deck, and then you get to bring back one of your opponent's cards. A lot of the time, decks, especially in the modern game, will mill just a ton. Therefore, you might be able to get a big boss monster, or at the very least, you'll get one of their tribute fodder that they've used. In the current game, I don't know if this is going to be as good, because a lot of the time, people just kind of set 3 monsters and pass. But going forward, this card could be really, really good. I don't like Yggdrago summon animation. Why did they make it bad? I haven't actually seen it yet, so we'll have a look at it in a minute, I think. Seems bad right now. Yeah, I completely agree, Grand. This card will probably, like we say, be good later, so maybe invest in it and then use it later. I managed to cog yesterday with free-to-play Ultimate Ace. Nice! I mean, Ultimate Flag Mech is such a cool deck, and even as free-to-play, it is still very, very strong. Obviously, it's not going to be as consistent, but you don't always need that consistency. You know, just draw good. Next up, we have Thunderspark. Now, this is another... This isn't, like, super modern, but this came out in, like, the last year. But when an opponent's monster declares an attack where you have a machine or thunder monster in your graveyard, the attacking monster loses 500 attack to the end of this turn. So this is, like, a slightly more versatile Curtain of Sparks, because you can use it with 2 different types. This is obviously meant to be thunder support, but this is actually pretty good machine support. You would probably play this in Acebreaker, right? Because now the main thing here is that it can now trade with Ancient Arise, but then how good is Ancient Arise going to be going forward with maximums? Because against maximums, this card is basically pointless, right? So I did get stupid lucky on my few box pulls and got 2 Ghost Cyclones, which helped out a lot. Nice. I mean, Ghost Cyclone is a really It's a weird card. Ghost Cyclone is the same as Rising Light Angel Essel, right? Where most people play them as a side deck going second card. When you know you're going to be going second, you try and maximize the value you can get off the cards, but still completely fine on their own. I also rush cogged on my speed account yesterday with a pile of cards, and that is what we always like to see. You know, if you just keep grinding the ladder long enough, you'll get there, especially towards the end of the month. So next up, this is a card I wasn't expecting to see for quite a long time. This is Shadow Buyer. So shuffle one monster from your graveyard into the deck, increase this card's level by the number of face-up monsters on your opponent's field. So this thing can become a 5, which is fine, but more importantly, it can become a 7, which is very, very important for Doom Metal's effect, who it looks like we're not getting yet, but we'll probably be getting maybe the next box, maybe the box after, but being able to get up to a level 7 on a level 4 monster is really good. Until the end of the turn, this turn you can only attack with Fiend type monsters, but that doesn't matter. If you're playing this, you're probably playing full Rebels anyway. But yeah, just generally a really good card, because this card as well doesn't take a card from your hand like Gargoyle does. And that is so big, because the main issue that we've always had with Rebels is just losing cards. I have to tribute out a monster just to tribute over it. I have to send a card from my hand to the graveyard. I have to just give up all these cards to be able to get out my high level monsters and get their effects off. Shadow Buyer doesn't force you to do that, so very, very good card. Then we have Stormbolt Destroyer. We kind of expected this to come out when we saw the skill along with Trigger Drago. It's fine. Getting out a level 4 lower Thunder type normal monster is fine. It's not anything crazy. You can't end on like 3 tribute monsters using this card, but it's still okay. If you want to play the Thunder deck, it's there for you. Sensor Duckbill. Now this is actually a really good card, and as we get better Thunder cards going forward, this card becomes a lot better, especially if we ever get Thunderbolt, which is a very, very powerful card. This card works really well with it. You can place one card from your hand on the bottom of your deck, add a level 5 or higher Thunder type monster from your graveyard to your hand, just recycle boss monsters. So always going to be a really, really useful card. As long as there are good Thunder monsters to use, this card will always be good. Then we have Atrashoot Hydron, which is a card we predicted might be coming out in this box, which if we have 3 or more Cyberse type monsters in your graveyard, send them to card to the graveyard. This card gains attack equal to the number of monsters in your graveyard times 100 to the end of this turn. Then if you have 8 or more Cyberse monsters in your graveyard, you can draw a card. This is actually bonkers, right? 2500 attack base, really, really good. 0 defense, so it does work with the Cyberse skill. On top of the fact, it mills us, which generally is something we want, as well as the fact that milling us does fuel its own effect, just like Seven's Red Magician. Attack equals the number of monsters in your graveyard, so it's not even just Cyberse, so you could play this as well, not in a Cyberse deck, and still get a boost. Times 100 to the end of the turn. So again, you know, we get 5 monsters in the graveyard, this thing's a 3000 attacker. If we get 8 to get the other effect, 3300. This thing, it'll be difficult, but can just beat over a maximum on its own, so really good card. And drawing a card, again, in Rush is really, really good. Being able to have access to more cards so you can set like 3 back row and end on like 2 tribute monsters and a normal summon is insane, right? Just having more cards is always good, so this card, absolutely incredible. I actually predicted we might get this card, but I thought it was maybe a little bit too strong to come out. Apparently Konami does not agree. Another card we predicted, Stop Defense. So change 1 defense position monster on your opponent's field to face-up attack position. This is kind of Pierce, right? You use this to get to your opponent's life points when they are setting monsters. Obviously, this does have a little bit of extra use if your opponent's playing a very high defense monster deck, like if they're playing something along the lines of Bender Break or something, then this card becomes better. It's just Stop Defense. It's basically Pierce. We use it to kill an opponent's monster and get to our opponent's life points. And then Talismanic Seal Array. So I actually didn't think this card was going to come out. A lot of people did say they were guaranteed this card was going to come out because it does maximums. This is modern. Well, it's not really modern. This is a card that people play in their side decks currently, because this is one of the best outs to maximum. Shuffle 4 monsters from your graveyard into your deck, which again, shuffling cards is super, super exciting because we don't have many ways to shuffle cards back from our graveyard into our deck, and this does 4 of them all at once. So even in regular decks, when deck out is quite problematic a lot of the time, being able to do this is just really good. On top of the fact you can just use this on like a level 7 monster and weaken its attack by 1400, which is just good. The only real negative of this card is it only lowers attack. So if your opponent is like sat on a Yami ruler in defense mode, you can't use this card to deal with it, but it's still absolutely fantastic. And then we move on to Invasion. Now in the physical game, this card was kind of mid, didn't really see a lot of play until we got Echo, and then you could use Echo to bring this card back and then just tribute it off. But with the new skills we've got, this card is now insane. If you're playing against a non-maximum deck, or a deck that hasn't got a maximum out, I should say, you can just use this to just blow up your opponent's entire board using the skill. Like, the skill changes all of their defense monsters face up, then it makes your monsters be able to be tributed to get this effect off, and it also weakens your opponent's monsters level so that they can all just be popped by evasion, which is crazy, right? This is going to make Royal Rebels nuts. Now, the only reason this card might not see play, thank you for the follow, no Delon. We're going to go with that. But this is going to make Royal Rebels, I think, are going to be really, really powerful. And again, the only reason I think you wouldn't see this card is if you're expecting to see nothing but maximums, and thus this card still doesn't work against maximums, so you'd just be not bothering with it and instead just using the growls and the heavy metals, because they actually do deal with maximums using the skill. And then another card that we predicted. We're on a bit of a roll with the predictions. Then on top card of your deck to the graveyard, one face-up level 7 or higher monster on your opponent's field loses 400 attack to the end of this turn. Then it loses an additional number of spellcaster monsters in your graveyard times 100 attack to the end of this turn if we have 7's Road Magician. Which means 7's Road plus this just beats maximums, which is very good. Obviously, we're still going to have to play all the different attributes, but that's fine, right? You're going to be doing that anyway in the 7's Road Magician deck. So there's not really a negative about this card other than it's just got a weak body, right? We send the top card of our deck, which is good because that means arguably that fuels the 7's Road Magician, as well as if it is a spellcaster, fuels its own effect. We don't have to give up a card from our hand to use it, which is always going to be really good. And it does get an extra bonus if you're using 7's Road Magician, which again, you're going to be playing this with 7's Road Magician. So really, really good. Then this is a weird one. We're actually getting Cobalt Kobold before we're getting the machine version of this card. So this is basically just another Mystic Dealer. Send one Fiend monster from your hand to the graveyard, draw one card. So this is the Fiend version of Mystic Dealer. A lot of types do get this sort of effect. The machine one is what we were expecting, but yeah, we're just getting the Fiend one. You know, that's fine. Hi, I'm interested in Rush format. Welcome on in. We are just going over the new boxes for, well, the new box that's been released for Rush, or being released, I should say. We can speak properly. But Cobalt Kobold. Yeah, it's weird that it's called Cobalt. It's just Cobalt Kobold. Obviously, I changed the name from Kobold, but yeah, whatever. I'm happy to see this card. I think we need more cards like this. We need more consistency cards. If we can get the discard draw cards more often, including the spell cards, that would make me a lot happier because then you will brick less, which is always a good thing. It's Rush month. Get ready for the rush. Exactly. Blaster Scout is not a new card, but it was in a structure deck before, so neat. Then we get some weird ones. We got Trailblazing Thunderbolt and Barrage of Steel, which is the spell trap hate for Thunder and Machines. Now, all of these cards, all of the back row hate cards for specific types have been released in very specific ways so far. We've got those level up rewards, or in terms of the Beast and Beast Warrior one, we got it as a event. So we're just getting these two just in a box, which is weird. They're also only rares, whereas all of the other ones I believe have been, well, Rage of the Wild Beasts was a super. I can't remember if the other ones are super or just rares actually now. But Cobalt's spelt wrong on DLM. I mean, is it just spelt wrong on DLM, or is that what they're going to call it? Like, who knows? But yeah, interesting. We got these. Obviously, it's a necessity. If you're going to play these, you're going to want back row removal. You want to play these, right? Then we get to Pazuzu, the King of Mythical Wind Beast. Now, this is not its original name. Yeah, Pazuzu, I think was its original name. Now it's called Pazuzu, apparently. But it's a 1 Tribute 2000 monster. There's not really much to say about this. It's a beast. Neat. Anyway, next up we have Blast Jaws, level 3, 1200. So this is another Thunder, but this is Thunder Water. And this is something that does happen quite a lot. There are quite a lot of Thunder Water monsters in Rush. If your opponent has 1 or less card in their hand, shuffle 1 Thunder-type monster from your graveyard into the deck. 1 face-up Thunder monster on your field gains 400 attack. So that's just fine. Again, Thunder's like this mini kind of effect clause where they want your opponent to have no cards in their hand. So in some regards, you can play one of the Royal Rebels. What is it? Shout? Is that what it's called? I think it's called Shout. Yeah, which does discard cards from your opponent's hand. It does let the Thunder effects work. I don't know if you'd actually bother playing this, but it is an option. But yeah, 400 attack is fine. Lets your Trigger Drago get up to like 32, which is pretty good. Then we just have our maximum pieces, which we do know now are rare, which is pretty cool. And then Light Sorcerer, which is an interesting one, because that now means this is directly power creeps the 1400 Light Spellcaster. So maybe they really want you to play, what is it, Light Sorcerer of Sanctity, and play it alongside this card. And then finally, for the rares, we have Counter Pigeons. When an opponent's monster declares an attack targeting your attack position Winged Beast type monster, the attacking monster loses attack equal to its level times 100. Now, this is a little bit annoying. This is really good into things like, I guess, like Dragius, right? But against like Ancient Arise Dragon, you're going to weaken it by 800 or by 700. So it'll go up to 3,000, then it'll go back down to 23. Now that 23 is still bigger than like all of the Winged Beast monsters, because the Harpies are going to be 2100 during your opponent's turn when they're in normal, non-maximum mode. The Volt Condor is 22. I think Lightning Crested Hawk is either 22 or 21, I can't remember. But the point is that unless you literally have the maximum out, this card doesn't actually do a lot. But if you do have the maximum out, if you get Harpy out in maximum mode, Counter Pigeons does work against everything, including the Yggdrago, right? Because Yggdrago, 4,000 attack, will lose 1,000 attack down to 3,000. It can't be destroyed by traps, but it can be affected by them, so it will crash into your Harpies. So Counter Pigeons is going to be an interesting card going forward, because, again, I don't know how good this is going to be without higher base attack Winged Beast monsters. But then we get down to the dregs. So we have Dark Femtron, just a 1500 Cyberse monster. Not really much to say about it. And we have Pluggy Fish, which is... its name used to be Jellyfish? Jelly Plug? I think this card used to be called. Which is very sad, because I liked its old name. But... yeah, this is part of a fusion. So, if you want to do Psychic Fusions in the future, you probably want to pick this up. And it's cute. I mean, look at it. What's not to love? Connector Dog is another Cyberse 1500 vanilla. So we're getting a lot of Cyberse 1500 vanillas, and we've just hit an ad break, so we will just wait for that. We don't want to continue on without everyone here. Oh, that's a lovely coffee. Alright, and that should be Adges over. So yeah, multiple 1500 vanillas is an interesting choice. I don't know if that's going to matter too much. Obviously, we have so many 1500 vanillas now that the kind of aggro style decks are going to be spoilt for choice, but just interesting we've decided to give 2. I suppose we've got 2 for spellcasters now as well, so guess it's fine. Then we have Angler Coilfish, which is just the 1500 vanilla Thunder, which is, again, fine. Probably going to be the best target to get off Stormbolt Destroyer. Just bring back a level 4 lower Thunder type normal monster. It's probably the best one. Then we've got a new Talismanic Warrior. We have Karatake. So if you have another face-up warrior type monster in your field, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the number of spell traps on their field times 200. So this is not the best one. Unfortunately, we're getting kind of all the bad Talismanic Warriors. So I guess the one that you get as a level up reward from Gakuto is probably fine. You know who doesn't have 1500s? Aqua. So, not yet, but they will get them eventually, right? We will get, God, what is it even called? No, it's Witch, right? It's called, like... So eventually you'll get Tiramisu Dark Witch as a 1500, and you'll get Tutumus Dark Witch as a 1500. I don't know when we're going to get these, but we should get them eventually, right? And I think there might even be another one they get. But, you know, they exist. Then we get Reset Runner, a really weird card. Send the top card of your deck to the graveyard to shuffle your deck. If you're stacking the bottom of your deck and you know that you stack stuff you want, shuffling it can be okay. Isn't that just an alt art? It is not. Tirasum Dark Witch and Tutumus Dark Witch are different. This is a water monster and this is a dark monster. So they are actually different cards. But this is a common theme you see. Like, I think Change of Heart gets a weird aqua monster. I can't remember what it's called, though. Yeah, this one. Change of Desert will get as just a 100 attack, level 1 water monster. Because for some reason, we needed a Change of Heart retrain, and the best thing we could do would be make it a useless normal monster. Because reasons. But, yeah, that exists. Next up, pair production. Send 2 level 5 or lower Cyberse monsters with the same level from your hand to the graveyard. One face-up monster on your field gains attack equal to the level of 1 of the monsters sent to the graveyard to meet its requirement times 400. So this caps out at 2000 attack, but you're giving up this card plus 2 more cards for 2000 attack. And that's if you have 2 specifically level 5 monsters, which you're probably not. Realistically, you're going to have 2 level 4 monsters. I'm not a big fan of pair production. I think it's too costly for what it does. Maybe you'll see it if you really need to counter the maximums, and 2000 attack will do that. Then we have Shrink Shrimp. I mean, who doesn't love Shrink Shrimp? So this is a level 5 Cyberse monster. Send up to 2 face-up Cyberse type monsters from your field to the graveyard. One face-up monster on your opponent's field loses attack equal to the number of monsters sent to the graveyard times 300. So this caps out at 600. Giving up 2 cards for 600. I'm not the biggest fan. It's very steep costed for not much gain. So, yeah, I guess that's why it's a normal. Then we have Surgebot Lizard, another Thunder level 4 monster. So it's basically exactly the same as Angler Coil, except this is water, whereas this is light. No real difference other than that. Then we have Tyone, which is fine. 1400 defense, 1200 attack. It's a slightly worse Harpy Lady. Not really much to say about it. Then we have Quantum Hole. When a Cyberse type monster on your field is destroyed by battle by an opponent's attack, draw 2 cards, then place 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck. Now, obviously, you want to have at least a card in your hand when you use this, otherwise you're literally just putting the top 2 cards of your deck to the bottom of your deck. But if we do, the idea is to put spare maximum pieces to the bottom, or just try and dig out the maximum as soon as possible. That's kind of the whole logic behind this card. Then we have Dragon Merchant. Send a card from your hand to the graveyard. One face-up level 6 or lower dragon monster on your field gains 500 attack. Again, 500 on a level 6 or lower. The best way to use this is probably going to be with the Ancient Forces skill. But even then, you get up to a maximum of 3,300 with this, which isn't enough to clear any of the maximums. So, not going to do much into maximums, but maybe be okay against other decks. But I still don't like the idea of sending a card from your hand to the graveyard to use the effect. Then we have Sports Dragon Striker. This is another card we predicted. I think we also did actually predict the Dragon Merchant as well. But if you have Sports Dragon Keeper, which is a really bad level 6 monster, on your field in attack position, which again, it has like 100 attack, so you don't want it in attack position, send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. This turn, one face-up monster on your field gains 400 attack and inflicts Piercing. Now, Piercing's really good, and 400 attack is really good. I don't want to play Keeper, because Keeper is, if we just look it up right now, is completely garbage. It has a big butt. That is about the only thing it has going for it. 1900 defense isn't even that big. This thing would need at least 2100 defense to do anything. It's got 400 attack, that's my bad, I thought it had 100. But completely crap. So, because that's crap, realistically, Striker is also crap. And then Faithbird, 1500. Has a decent defense stat, at least, which is something, but it's just another vanilla, which is fine, again. So, overall, I think this is fine. I think I would have liked it if it wasn't a mini-box, because I just want more cards, right? None of these cards in here are particularly, bad, or I'm, disappointed in them. I think the biggest one that's exciting for me is actually probably the Atrashoot Hydrum. I think this card's going to be really cool. I mean, I've always been a big fan of the Spellcasters, so Seven's Road Mage is cool. And then I think all the Royal Rebel stuff looks really good. So we'll have to see how that actually ends up being. And then, I suppose we'll go and look at the skills. So, these are interesting. Let's put it that way. Some of these we've already seen, and they've just got name, or they've been changed slightly. So we'll just try and go through them pretty quick. But Combined Super Magitech Deity, this is almost certainly just the one for the event. I think that we might even have access to this now. Because this is too good to be used as a real skill. So let's face it, this isn't going to be a real skill. Next up, we have Embodying Absolute Curiosity. Use an empty space in a rush duel. At the beginning of the duel, place your guy in maximum mode. And again, I assume this is also going to be part of the event. This does at least have, they deal half battle damage to your opponent, but I assume this is just to make the event a little bit easier. But it'd be funny if this was a real skill. And then we get to what I think is the first real skill, Maximum Overlord. This skill can be used if the only monsters with 2100 or less attack in your deck are spellcasters or machines. Send a maximum monster from your hand to the graveyard. Place 1 monster from your hand onto your field and face down defense position. Its battle position can be changed. Then you can decrease the attack of one monster in your opponent's field by 800 until the end of this turn. During the end phase, return a maximum monster from your graveyard to the deck. So this is, I think, word for word the same, except now they've added this little line here, which Grand already told us that's how it works anyway. But Yeah, I don't think this is particularly exciting. Nothing about this skill screams this is going to make Machine Overlord really good, so I don't know. Next up we have Hell Tuning Invasion, which I really do like this name. Hell Tuning Invasion, it's such a cool name. This skill can be used if the only monsters with 1400 or more attack in your deck are light fiend type monsters. Then one card from your hand to the graveyard. Again, this cost is the only thing we don't like about the skill. All monsters on either field become face-up attack position. So already, that's a really powerful effect. Just doing that is already doing a ton. Until the end of the turn, the level of all level 4 or lower fiend monsters on your field become 5. That is now, again, incredible. This has turned on Invasion, this has turned on Heavy Metal, and it's turned on Growl. The level of all level 5 or higher monsters on your opponent's field decreased by 4. So this now means that all of your opponent's boss monsters are now under level 4, right? Because if they were level 8, they're now at level 4. If they were 7, 6, or 5, they're now, you know, under 4. And anything that was already 4 is already 4. Which now does mean that our boy Invasion destroys everything. He destroys all face-up level 4 or lower monsters on your opponent's field. And guess what? They are now all level 4 or lower monsters. So you just wipe your opponent's board, which is crazy. That is actually nuts. And obviously, reducing their level 10 monsters by 4 puts them down to level 6, which does mean that our boy, Heavy Metal, can now destroy maximum monsters, which is why Royal Rebels now seem completely busted. Now, the discard is insane, right? That is the only thing that keeps this from being super duper unbelievably overpowered, because it does actually have a cost. But other than that, you get to just deal with it, right? You get to deal with maximus. And again, they've given this to the one archetype that historically has always struggled against maximums and has never really had a good way to deal with them. Now they're arguably the best way to deal with them. It's so crazy. And then the restriction is you cannot attack with monsters that are level 6 or lower. Like that's going to matter. You've blown up your opponent's board and you've summoned out at least if you're killing the maximum, you've got like a 5,500 dude out, at least, right? If you summon it out, if you use the skill and manage to get out your Heavy Metal, pop your opponent's Yggdrago, you now have a 6,500 attack monster that is going to attack your opponent directly. So if they just don't have the out, and again, 6,500 means barrier doesn't even stop this. If they don't have widespread, it's just over, right? Strong skill, they're the best way to deal with anything now. Yeah, you are 100% correct. Waiting for your new Royal Rebels profile. I'm really looking forward to playing Rebels. That's the thing. It's a little bit disappointing because I wanted more Harpy stuff. Like building a Harpy deck now it's doable, but it's kind of like there's not really a lot to do here. It's like when Aquas first came out and they got their first wave of support. It was kind of hard to build a pure like bubble era deck. And I feel like it's going to be hard to build a pure Harpy deck. Like, you could do it. It'll probably be okay. But will it be good? Will Royal Rebels be good, though? I'm thinking probably, yeah. The next up we have Rosh Hashanah Yggdrago. This doesn't matter. This is the skill for if you don't have any of the pieces. Then we have Maximum Ragnarok. So this skill can be used if there are 8 or more maximum monsters in your deck. And the only monsters in your deck are Cyburst type monsters with 100 or less defense. And again, that's really important because all of the other boss monsters we've been seeing for Cyburst have had 0 defense. Return 1 card in your hand to the bottom of your deck. So giving up a card always kind of sucks, right? Choose up to 2 face-up monsters on your field or your opponent's field. This turn, the chosen monsters lose 800 attack and can be treated as 2 tributes. So again, multifaceted effect. Weaken your opponent's monsters or make your monsters be able to use as 2 tributes to summon out big guys. Really, really good. I think what makes me excited for this is actually just this, right? Atrashoot Hydron, I think, is a good enough boss monster. And if you think about it like this, if you're staring down a Yggdrago, all you need to do is get 8 monsters in the grave, and Atlas Hydron plus skill outs it, right? If you get 9, you've now cleanly outed it without having to crash. So I think it could be good. Especially with like the extra draw, especially since because of how the skill is worded, you need to be playing Yggdrago in your deck anyway. So you're still building towards your own maximum play, which in itself is quite powerful, as well as you have this backup plan of, oh, I can weaken my opponent's stuff and just kind of play the beatdown with Hydron and mean, arguably Sudrastrate's Soul, but I'm not a big fan of this card, to be honest. And then what was the other card we were getting? It was somewhere. It was up here, wasn't it? This thing. Berceptical Mani. Let's face it, the real boss monster is the Atrasute Hydron. I mean, it seems so good. We got the maximum 2 normal monster Harpy, Pet Dragon, a Trap, and 1 normal Winged Beast. That's it for Harpy. Yeah, that's what I mean. You're going to have to just play, like, generic cards and just hope that it's enough. Like, a lot of the spell traps don't do a lot for Harpies as well. Like, the barrier, the Harpies and other Winged Beast monsters' attack is too low for the barrier to really do anything, so it's a bit awkward. Tier 0 Rush format too? I mean, maybe. I think there's going to be enough diversity, at least at the start, but tournaments, depending on how powerful this ends up feeling in-game, this could just take over, right? It'll be interesting to see what happens. We got the Rush Cup coming up, so it would fit. I'm not going to lie. Rush Cup, Hell Tuning Invasion seems pretty good. Again, the only thing that might hold us back is just the amount of cards we're giving up. We have to send a card from our hand to the graveyard. A lot of the... If we're not exactly using this skill... Because how often can we use this? This is... It doesn't say once per duel, right? So you could do this every turn. Yeah, there's no restriction on this saying like once per duel or anything. So it just seems nuts. I like that Fiend that becomes level 5 for Red Eyes Rebel. Oh, are we talking about the Shadow Buyer? Because this is really good. Just in general, Shadow Buyer is just a really good card. Like, anytime you want to increase your level, not having to discard a card to do it, is insane, right? Any other way to get level 5 is either discard a card, send a card from your hand to the deck, or is like summon out a monster, tribute it to get out a higher level monster, to tribute over that. So Shadow Buyer just completely creeps all of that, which is so good. So next up, we have Femtron Draw. Before you normal draw on turn 2 onwards, once per duel, one of the cards for your normal draw will be Femtron. This turn you can only attack with level 7 or higher Cyburst monsters. So Femtron is very important because all of the other Tron cards need this card in your graveyard to get their effects off. I don't think this skill is going to be worth using personally, but whatever. I can't play it in the new skill though. Oh yeah, we can't play Red Eyes in Hell Tuning Invasion, no. But I mean, you know, Red Eyes will still always be a thing. I don't know if Red Eyes is going to be worth it with Maximums running around, because how does that deck out Maximums? Like, it just kind of doesn't. So this might be the end of Red Eyes. We'll have to see. Set Quantum Hole. Once per duel, just set a Quantum Hole from your deck or your graveyard. Neat. Again, I don't know why you would play this over, like, Maximum Ragnarok or something, but it's fine. I just saw the 2 new bundles too. I mean, not bad. Yeah, we'll get to them when we get to the bottom of this, but they are very cool. I'm actually surprised we got the Tribute to the Doomed one this early, to be honest. Beyond Curiosity. Activate at the beginning of the duel if the only monsters in your deck are Cyberse type. Add 3 Zeptron and 3 Peacock Pictotron to your deck. Then you can send as many Femtron as possible from your deck to the graveyard. So this is where things get interesting, because we were expecting to just get these cards, but it looks like they're being locked to this skill, which is a bit weird. But Zeptron, if we have no other monsters on our field and have Femtron and Atron in the graveyard, Atron being I think it was a drop from Nail. Send this card from the field to the graveyard, draw 2 cards, place 2 cards in your hand, it just cycles. Peacock Pictotron, if you have no other monsters on your field and have Femtron in your graveyard, send this card from your field to the graveyard, draw 2 cards, then send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So this is a tribute monster, but it does plus you, right? We basically give up, well, kind of. We have to summon a monster, then we have to tribute that monster to get Peacock Pictotron out. Then we send Pictotron to the grave. So we've already -2'd, but then we're drawing 2. And then we're losing 2 cards from the top of our deck, but that's not advantage-wise. So it is still just cycling, but it feels a bit better. And if we do get any way to recycle this card, which we will in the future, it does become really, really good. Light Fiends only, if I recall. Oh, can you not use it? Wait, it was only, let me just double check that. Because this was 1400 or more attack are Light Fiends. That's the only thing that matters. This guy's only got 1200 attack. So you can use him with the skill. But that is a good catch, because I forgot that this had this restriction on it. So, yeah, these cards are okay. During the duel, during each of your end phases, a max monster in your field loses 600 attack. I mean, yeah, this makes this more consistent, I guess. But it's weird, because although it gives you access to all these more filtering cards, we stick 6 cards in our deck after sending 3 cards to the grave. So you've actually +3'd your deck. So now your deck is bigger, thus will be less consistent. But now you have access to more filtering cards. It's weird. It's weird. It'd be fun to test this out, but I still feel like Maximum Ragnarok is going to be the way to go. Like, as my first reaction to it. Next up we have Hysteric Force. This skill can be used if the only monsters with 1400 more attack in your deck are wind. One face-up Harpy Lady Sisters or Harpy's Pet Dragon on your field gain attack equal to that monster's level times 100. So if we use this while in maximum mode, we gain 1000 attack. Harpy's Pet Dragon will always gain 700 attack. And if we're not in maximum mode, we'll just gain the 500. So if we have our middle piece, which is 21, gain 5 up to 26. Then if we use its own ability, it can go up to 31, which is a good number. Because 31 is big enough that you can get over pretty much every trap outside of like a widespread, right? So that's nice, but it doesn't deal with maximums, like just this number on its own. So we'll have to see. At the end of this turn, if there are no attack position monsters on your opponent's field, you can change one defense position monster on your opponent's field to face-up attack position, which is the really, really good part of this effect. Harpy's Pet Dragon obviously is a really good way to out maximums, and thus I think just having access to Pet Dragon is what will let this do okay into maximums, like other maximum decks. So yeah, I think this is fine. Like, I think this is way better than the other skill, put it that way. But I was hoping for more Harpy Lady support, and then this skill would like really go off, but this is still fine. And nice, Royal Rebels will be good. Yeah, that's what we're expecting, which we're really looking forward to it. I tried it on my mobile one. Nice. I mean, who doesn't love... Because even though we don't have access to all the new cards yet, we still can do a little bit of maximum play, which we will be doing in a little bit, but we'll get to that in a minute. Harpy Lady Sisters, Elegant Egotist. This skill can be used if there are 3 Harpy Lady Sisters in your deck. See, now, does this mean 3 or more, or does this mean 3? Because it's only the middle piece. It is 3 or more. Then forget what I'm saying. Well, I was reading this as you need 3 Harpy Ladies or L or R. But no, this is just you need to have all 3 of the maximum middle piece in your deck. On turn 6 onward, show 1 Wind Attribute Wing Beast type monster 200 and 0 defense from your hand to your opponent. So ideally this would be a left or a right piece. Send 2 cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard. Then you can add Harpy Lady Sisters, which you have 3 copies of in your deck, from your graveyard to your hand. If you do so, 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. This turn your opponent will not take battle damage. I think this is mid. That's my honest opinion. This is mid. Reducing maximum's levels with the skill, then destroying it with heavy metal, and it goes up to 6,500 attack. Yeah, exactly, Rank Referee. We were just talking about that a little while ago. Royal Rebels look like they're going to be absolutely insane, especially since when the Roa event comes back, we do get their field spell, which does protect them from trap destruction, which means the only way to stop them would have been Widespread Ruin, and now Widespread Ruin won't work on them. So, you know. So is the general theme maximum very big, and how decks deal with it? I mean, basically, yeah. Maximums are just these like giant things, right? And they're very difficult. It's very difficult just to reach that attack. I mean, already we're seeing 2,500 attack or defense in the case of like Yami Ruler is already kind of difficult to deal with sometimes, and people have already been building their decks around that. That's why we've been seeing things like Speedy Performer. That's why Ancient Arise Dragon has been on the rise, because again, it's really difficult to deal with those cards, especially when the barrier doesn't protect 25s against 3000s. So having a guy that's even bigger than that is just even more catastrophic, right? Okay, just did my first maximum summon in Duel Links. If so, Royal Rebels will probably run over everything. That's what I'm expecting being. Royal Rebels seems so strong. Just like the UI and how the field changes, but the animations are meh at best. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing as well, Corono, which is a bit of a shame. But we'll have a look at them in a minute. How does the field change? I haven't seen it. The 3 monster zones connected together, and you have a big connected monster in the middle. Yeah, so it happens in the show as well, where the dual disc, which is usually like 3 different zones, just kind of slam together and make one big zone. Which is cool. Also, the new SR spell can reduce maximum attack. Yes, we went over this earlier, but we do have the Talismanic Seal Array, which is completely crazy. For so many reasons, by the way. This card, shuffling 4 monsters from your graveyard. Now, there will be situations where you won't have 4 monsters in your graveyard, and that will suck. But I think just playing this as a one-off, just to shuffle cards back into your deck, is really good. Because it's not just shuffling cards, right? It's also weakening your opponent's monster. So even if you just use this, you know, to weaken an opponent's monster, shuffle all the cards back in the deck, and then slam into them, that is already doing so much. Royal Rebels Tier 0 format, oh boy. I mean, I think that's fine. This might be an unpopular opinion or a very popular opinion, depending on what you say, but I think Royal Rebels are so cool. I want them to be doing better. Like, aesthetically, I love these cards, and I love their effects. Are your monster zones all filled then? Yeah, so when you maximum summon out a monster, it takes up all 3 of your zones. You cannot summon any other monsters, but it counts as 1 monster. I'm really concerned by all the skills they're adding that just let you ignore your opponent's battle position. Yeah, I guess it's because I feel like it's almost an answer to a lot of the stronger decks having access to ways to get to your opponent's life points, right? Because, like, Royal Rebels, for example, are a deck that historically, and even to this day, the way you beat them is you put monsters in defense mode and wait until you can out all of their shit. And they just go, I can't do anything about it. I guess I'll just keep attacking and hope you run out of normal summonable monsters. And that always feels kind of gross, right? That's just why decks like, you know, Dragius has always been insane, because you just attack through your opponent's stuff and then attack them directly. Mirror Innovator, which is a card that, again, we've been waiting for the longest time. But again, it's also a really, really good card because it gets piercing, right? And just having ways to get to your opponent's life points are so important. So it feels like they're trying to use the skills to give everyone a way to get to your opponent's life points, so that people don't just naturally go onto Dragius or don't specifically go onto Innovator. The main concern is it just feels like it's removing defensive options from players. Yes. See, I agree with what you're saying, but generally, defense... So, again, if you're just setting cards because you want to buy time because you haven't drawn into your outs or you haven't drawn into your boss monsters, again, it sucks, right? But when people do have defensive style decks, like decks that specifically require having high defense monsters, I mean, I guess in a way like Bender Break, in a way like Yami Ruler, and when we get to things like... Oh god, what's it called? I guess the chairs are a good example, but also... What is he called? Dark Lurker, that's it. Cards like Wicked Shadow Dark Lurker are just horrid to play against. If you don't have good outs to these big butt monsters that are just protected by trap cards, the game becomes so stale and so boring. So I would rather that the game took away defensive options than have defensive options be prevalent. But I do understand what you mean, right? If you don't draw boss monsters to summon and your play is just set 3, you now get punished for that really hard, because your opponent can now, using so many of these skills, change a monster's battle position and then just get in at your life points, which really does suck. At the very least, a lot of the time they're doing this, they can only do it once, right? Change one defense position monster in your opponent's field to attack position. So you will be taking damage, but you shouldn't just outright die, which is at least something. Now, that doesn't negate that, but at the very least, the game state is moving, right? Things are happening. That's my take anyway. I'm just here waiting to play one of my favorite decks, artwork and idea-wise. I mean, yeah, who doesn't love playing things they... Like, I'm still waiting for the dinos. I'm loving the dinos. Even though the dinos are going to be really bad. I'm really looking forward to playing them. Blaze Fiends, but it will take some time, and I don't know if we will be able to play it if they limit 3 all the middle pieces. Blaze Fiends are a weird one. I think Blaze Fiend is a good candidate to come early, because Blaze Fiends haven't really done anything in Modern Rush. I think they came out a little bit too late. They were maybe a little bit too safe. Some of the pieces individually have done quite well, but overall, they've been a bit mid. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them come out a little bit early, and then maybe have them thrive a little bit more. In a rush to deal damage. See what you did there. So next skill, we're going to take a look at Lightning Trigger. Oh, how many pet dragon is needed for harpies? Well, think about it like this. You'll have 3 middle pieces and 2 side pieces. That'll be 5 tribute monsters in your deck. And since you are limited in what you can play, right? Because they have to be wind monsters. There's not really any other good wind monsters to play. So you could probably just play 2. And I think it'd be fine. That gives you 7 tribute monsters total. 5 of which are 1 tribute. I think that'd probably be fine. Are we going to see some gameplay? Or are they not out yet? So they are not out yet. We only have access to the drops from Nail. That's the only thing we have at the moment, which is Citrusate Soul, Atron. It's just these two. These are the only new cards we have. We also have Uraby from the card trader, but that's just a 1500 vanilla. So we don't have any new rush stuff to play. So when we do play in a bit, we're going to be playing speed. We're going to be playing some Fluffals. We're going to be seeing if we can push our rank any higher. And then probably next stream, which will be on Thursday, that's when we're going to try and delve all into the rush. I would say 2 at max. Yeah, I don't think you'd want to play more than 2. I think it gets a bit bricky at that stage. But Lightning Trigger. This skill can be used if the only monsters except level 4 monsters in your deck are Thunders. So you can use other level 4 monsters, which is an interesting stipulation. During the turn, you normal summon or special summon a level 7 or higher monster with 1600 or less defense face up. So again, that's going to be specifically looking at the Trigger Drago and the Stormbolt Destroyer. We can decrease the attack of one face-up monster on the field by that monster's level times 100. So on a maximum, it's going to decrease it by 1000. Which is good, because that now means we can attack over it with our guys, unless it's Yggdrago. And that's where things get a bit funky. Because we can Yggdrago to 3k, then we can boost Trigger Drago up to, what, 28? Then we need another boost. So we need either Blast Jaws, or we need something like Speedy Performer to get it up that last little bit to attack over, and then hope your opponent also doesn't have a back row protect. I think it might be a bit struggle in the maximum world, but we'll see what happens. Then you can change one attack position monster on your opponent's field to defense position, which again is fine. I don't, again, think we're going to need that, right? Because if we're weakening their attack, unless your opponent's got like 2 big monsters that you can't deal with, because at that point you weaken one, you change the other one to defense and attack over both. Changing it to defense doesn't do a ton, but in those very specific situations, that does give you an extra out to that. And then that's it. This is a speed duel skill, so we're not going to bother looking at that. But then we have these summon animations. I guess we'll take a quick look at these. We'll just pause. Oh, my goodness. Sorry, everyone. Let's turn that the flip down. There we go. Let's take a look at these. From random blocks. That was a bit of a boring animation, but now is this also... Yeah. Whack that all the way down. That'll do. I mean, that's fine. I think that's a lot better than the other one. But again, could have been a bit longer, I think. And then down here, we will also see we get 2 new bundles. That being Cybertech Alligator, which is a bit of a weird one, right? Like, Cybertech Alligator is just a 2500 vanilla. It's basically just another summon skull. It's a machine, right? I'm almost certain Cybertech Alligator is a machine, right? Let's double check on that. If it works. There we go. So it is a machine. So it is arguably better than Summon Skull, right? Just because you can use it with the machine support. We do have that new trap card, which can protect this, which is pretty good. Can we talk about the fact that Cybertech Alligator is neither cyber nor an alligator? What do you mean? Is it a legend machine? Yes, it is. What do you mean? He's a Cybertech. Look at all that tech he's got on him. And he's kind of an alligator. He's more like a green dragon. But, you know, he's like a green dragon android. Who doesn't love it? He's a good boy. Read the text. Oh, we're going to read it. Originally a pterodactyl. Viciously attacked by a dragon. Using the newest technologies, his keeper saved him from a near-fatal wound and brought him back as a powerful cyborg. Okay. He's a pterodactyl. He doesn't look remotely like a pterodactyl either, I'm just saying that. But why is he not cyber is my next question. What's made him not cyber? That's my next question for you, Grand. Tech is short for machine. I don't see much reason to run it instead of Barrel Dragon. You are correct, I can't kill anyone. There is no reason to play this over Barrel Dragon unless you specifically want to be running less high-level monsters, right? You want a 5 instead of a 7, or an 8, whatever Barrel Dragon is. Other than that, yeah, it's just flat out worse, right? There will be cards in the future that do make this card playable, because there are a lot of cards that work with wind normal monsters, so in the future does become a lot better, and this card did actually recently start seeing play when we saw it alongside... Let's just make sure the music right one. Here it is. When Legend Strike came out, people did start playing this card quite a lot as an option to bring back with this card, because it just brings back level 4 monster with 1600 less attack, or a Legend normal monster, and it was a Legend normal monster that people would happily run. Bro, I have 21k gems or more. 7k will expire for sure. Yeah, I am in exactly the same situation. I just keep buying speed cards. Wow, I thought Konami was releasing a big box F. Yes. I have no idea what brand tried to... It has been ruled by Konami to not be a cyber card. Oh, you mean because it's a... As in, because it's cyber hyphen, it's not a cyber card, right? Like, if you use a card that searches a cyber card, it won't work. Okay, that's fair enough. Although I think it still should count, right? They should have, like, a little line on it, like, Summon Skull has, saying this is not an... Or this card is considered an Archfiend card. And then, I'm actually really surprised we got Tribute to the Doomed, because Tribute to the Doomed is clearly an anti-maximum card. And my idea was... My thought process was they would release the anti-maximum cards in the next box. Let the maximums be overpowered for a bit, then shut them down afterwards. But they've really tried to do it. The database has that text. That's the link. Ah, okay. Let's have a look. I don't see it, but it's fine. Either way. Originally was a pterodactyl who's viciously attacked by a dragon using the newest technologies as keep safe. This card is not treated as a cyber card. It's like Frog the Jam. Like, my poor guy became Slime Toad. It's like... Frog the Jam is iconic, right? Not DLM. Ah, okay. Yeah, these mats are pretty cool, right? I think... These two especially, I think, are pretty good. The Harpy Lady mat, I think, is, like, fine, but it's a bit... They haven't really done anything funny with the background, or fancy with the background. Like, I really love the fact they've got Yugjago in this, like, snowy plane. I think it just looks so cool. And that's everything. That is all of the news. That Magic is the new bundle? Yeah, so we have the two new bundles are Tribute to the Doomed and Cybertech Alligator. These are our two new bundle cards. But... with that, we have gone over all of the leaks. We've gone over the box. We've gone over all the new skills. And I think my conclusion is going to be Royal Rebels are the clear winners, right? We've got Invasion, we've got Shadowbuyer, which are fine cards. But the main reason they are the winners is the new skill, which is completely broken Hell Tuning Invasion. I think probably the next on the winning list is Cyburst. I think getting Atrashoot Hydron as well as their maximum is going to be really, really powerful. I think that's probably going to be the next most exciting deck to play, and what we're probably going to run into a lot on ladder. I think everyone is also just really excited for Yugjago the Sky Emperor because it just looks awesome. After that, it gets a bit muddy. As weird as it sounds, I think Spellcasters might be the next highest winner. Seven's Road Mage is a really good card and now gives them the tool, because Spellcasters are already in a decent spot, and Seven's Road Mage is exactly what they need to OTK your opponent harder or just out maximums. So I actually think Spellcasters are doing quite well off this box. We must call it not Cybertech Pterodactyl. I think Harpies are very good. I think Harpies could be good. Right, I think the individual cards are really, really strong. I'm just not sold on the number of cards they've gotten, right? I would have just liked to see a bit more. Like, again, Counter Pigeons, I think, is going to be fine if your opponent doesn't play around it. If you're playing against Maximums or Ancient Arise or anything that's boosting its attack, I think Machines as well is a good example of this. Counter Pigeons just doesn't do anything. Unless you straight up maximum summon your monster, which should be a lot harder to do than maximum summoning the others. Harpy's a cope, not enough Wing Beast. Yeah, I don't even know if it's the amount of winged beasts that I'm disappointed with. I think it's I wanted them to have more spell traps, right? Just give them a harpy specific spell trap or another winged beast specific spell trap that actually helps them deal with what's going to be in the meta. I disagree. I'm going to destroy you with them, Shui. Well, that sounds like a feature match if I've ever heard one. But yeah, I think I put harpies probably next. I think because Thunder is a weird one. I don't know if Thunder's going to do much. I think Thunder's going to be like a nice little deck that some people will pick up and really enjoy, but it's going to be doing its own little thing. It does have the tools it needs to out every other deck, but is it going to do that consistently? Is it going to be particularly very strong? Probably not. I kind of see this as sitting as like a nice low tier 2 deck where it's like, oh, it's in the meta, it exists, it can deal with all the other decks if it gets all the cards in the right order. I don't expect it to be like super duper crazy. I actually think Magnum Overlord feels like the loser here. Like it doesn't get a good skill. It doesn't have any good support. Like we didn't even get the Crafter Drone, which is just the machine version of Cobalt Kobold and thingy. Because this is just a good consistency card for Magnum Overlord. Just send a machine monster from your hand to the graveyard, draw a card. You know, you get too many of the same maximum piece, you want to get rid of it. Crafter Drone sorts you out, but yeah, I don't know. I think machines seem to be in struggle street with this, or at least not machines, but just like the Magnum Overlord deck itself. I think it's going to feel very sacky, right? When you win with Magnum Overlord, it's going to feel like, oh yeah, I just drew the pieces at the right time and killed my opponent. And your opponent's going to be sat like, you had no way to search any of this. You just hard drew it. What do I do? And it's like, yeah, nothing, apparently. You can't destroy me as I don't even play this format. That's a lie, Shui. I saw you playing Rush today. Don't you feed us with your misinformation and gaslighting. Yeah, I think that's kind of it for my opinions, right? I mean, we've kind of gone over everything, right? Oh, we haven't actually talked about the most important thing. Well, we have already, but in terms of like who's winning and losing, the most important winner here is the Dinosaurs. I mean, Dinosaurs rise up, right? They are garbage. We don't have enough of them to make a deck, and they don't have a skill. But who doesn't love Dinosaurs? I mean, come on, Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. Super King Rex. Mega Zowler. Everyone loves Mega Zowler. It was one of the original Rex cards. Rex Raptor. So I'm looking forward to the Dinos. Again, won't actually be good till we get their maximum. Won't be complete till we get the fusion. But they do eventually get some decent trap cards, which is something. I can't remember what the trap cards are called. They get pressure. I think it's with dynamic pressure. This card's really good. So when an opponent's monster declares an attack, shuffle 3 dinosaur monsters from your graveyard into the deck. All face monsters in your opponent's field lose 1,000 attack to the end of this turn. So 1,000 attack combat trick is really good. Shuffling cards from your graveyard into your deck is really good. And it's all face monsters on your opponent's field, which a lot of the time will just shut down their turn. So unbelievably good trap card. But again, this will get power crept hard when like a lot of the other more powerful fusions come out. So we need, I want these soon. I need it to be like the first wave of fusion support. I need my dinos in there. Otherwise they're going to get power crept and they're never going to be good. And I want them to be good. Yo, what's up? Are you ready for the Fiend Dominance? Hey, Waltz. Yes, we are. We were just literally talking that we think that Fiends are going to be the most powerful going forward. We'll have to see how it actually ends up being, but I think it probably will be. Little D, yep, Little D. Who doesn't love the Little D? I mean, Little D probably doesn't love Little D, but that's about it. Yo, this Tyrannosaurus tots a terrible temper. Best, one of the best flavor texts of all time. We got to admit that. It's funny they made the piece R below as for speed archetype be having like 2 URs and SRs. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a bit weird. I missed all the new box talk. I'll have to wait for the video. Well, there will be a video coming out, right? So yeah, that to look forward to, I suppose. Dinosaur Archive skill incoming. So what I actually expect dinosaurs to get is we're just going to get the... So how do I spell Jurassic? Is we're just going to get the skill that exists in Speed Duel, right? We're just going to get Jurassic World because it has a Rush equivalent. We'll just get a skill which is just like, yeah, just have Jurassic World on the field because it's a good homage to Speed as well as Like, it makes your cards suddenly really good, because just being able to tribute out a 2800 without having to give up another card to do so is just a good thing. The Fiend skill seems crazy. Yes, it is insanely good. It is absolutely bonkers. Little D is the 6th limb of Exodia, when we'll get the other 5. I mean, I don't think we're going to get Exodia in Rush, but you never know, never know. Fiends will be awesome to watch in tournaments. They'll blow out people every turn. I think it'll be fine to an extent, right? I'm really looking forward to it, and I think Fiends are going to be fun. The issue is if they become so good that they become tier 0 and just everyone is on it, because then that becomes a bit boring. I have always been a fan of a rich, diverse meta, so I just want as many decks in the format as possible, and I'm a little bit worried Fiends might just be the go-to for everyone, and that would be a little disappointing, because again, I want to see a wide spread of decks. I want to see diversity. Or block attack. Have you talked about how we don't have Beast Gear World yet? No, we haven't actually talked about the stuff we didn't get, other than like some Harpy stuff. Yeah, it's a bit weird. I don't know why we still haven't got Beast Gear World. Like, would Beast Gear World suddenly break something? But I'm just like not understanding. Beast Gear World, ironically, would be a boost to Royal Rebels, but they've just made them super strong, so they don't mind making Rebels stronger. It would be a boost to Machine decks as well, which you could argue Machines don't really need it, but they're not exactly popping off. Like, Machines are a strong deck, but they're not crazy. It doesn't really do anything to interact with any of the Maximums in any meaningful way. Like, Magnum Overlord gets an extra 300 attack. Wow. I think, yeah, block attack would be a really, really good one, right? I'd really like to see block attack as well. Obviously, we got stop defense. I did predict that we'd get block attack, but obviously we didn't. We got stop defense instead. I mean, we also did predict we'd get stop defense as well, but I think they will do, with Dinos, some, like Beast Gear, a ranked and card trader, more free-to-play deck. But they get a Maximum and a Fusion as well. You can't lock all of that behind weird stuff, because then when we do get those Maximums and Fusions, it's going to be really awkward to get all the cards. I'll definitely try Cyburst first. Yeah, that's probably a good shout for one. I think Cyburst is going to be very fun. I think just spamming out your Drago and getting out the Hydron, I think these are going to be really cool. I'm really looking forward to playing them. Kamani hates free-to-play decks. I mean, you're not wrong. Seems like we're getting to the point where Beast Gear would be too late. I honestly think Beast Gear, in its original state, would have been too late after Heavy Metal, to be honest. After, what's it, whatever the box was called, I think it's for Heavy Metal. Because the problem is, Beast Gear's main takeaway is, with our field spell, we can become 25 and 26, but the other decks that we already have access to can become 28s, right? Like Royal Rebels Invasion becomes a 26, but Heavy Metal becomes 28. You've got the Ace Breaker becomes 28. Tough Striker becomes 28 under it. So, like, I already feel like Beast Gears have been a little bit crept. Again, Beast Gears will get future support, and in the future they'll get much, much better cards, but like very, very, very modern, like, retrains of their boss monsters. So I think maybe we'll have to wait till those come out, which again could come out early. We'll have to wait and see. I didn't get to hear your thoughts, but do you think that they put in too many easy outs to Maximums? So I think it makes sense to not want your game to become Maximums only. Thank you for the follow, Dark Blue Man. So it does make sense that you would want to do that. I originally predicted that they were going to give us all the Maximums, let Maximums be the best decks. Just the entire ladder is going to be dominated by these two and the Harpies. And then the following box, they release all the counters to it, so people could be like, oh, finally we can deal with this Maximum threat. But I think the reason they're giving us the outs now is because they know it's going to be 2 or 3 months before they give us the next box. And knowing that, they're like, we can't just have like 2 or 3 months of these cards being unbelievably powerful. If we got updates every month, I think they would happily have done that. But I think because they know there's going to be a big gap, they are giving us all the outs now. That's like my opinion. That's my theory, right? For me, it seems like Maximums were too much effort for not enough benefit. Well, that's kind of how I feel about Magnum Overlord. I think Yggdrago is going to be fine, because I think the Cyberse deck works fine with it or without it. The only thing wrong with Yggdrago is it only has 2000 attack, right? But other than that, this card is just, or like, the Yggdrago pieces are all just fine, because they're just pieces, right? You can just summon them out and tribute them off. So like, what you could even do is just play like 2 of the middle piece, 3 of each of the other pieces, and then just play like Cyberse Beatdown that could also sometimes go into Yggdrago. Man, I was so excited for main box. 3 months for a mini is miserable. Yeah, it sucks. I wanted more cards, but again, it does make it easier to acquire the maximums, right? Now, we can get 3 copies of each of these maximums easier by spending less gems, and we can get all the other pieces without having to dig all the way through a main box 3 times. So that is at least a silver lining. Now, as someone that was always going to get 3 copies of every card anyway, it still sucks, because I've been saving up my gems to blow them all on this box and just get everything anyway, and now I can't do it. I still have gems left over. Needed to wet the whistle. I feel... Right, let's catch up with these chat. Yeah, pure Cyberse might be better than Cyberse Maximum. I feel that the same... I feel the same about Maximum Summoning. It kind of just reminds me of old Ritual summoning. Yes! In a weird way, I kind of see what you're getting at there. You need to gather a bunch of stuff in your hand, which can be a bit annoying, especially in a format where you want to empty your hand every turn. So you don't really want to be holding on to pieces. So there'll be situations where you've got like Yggdrago and like R in your hand, and you'll be sat there like, do I just hold on to both of these, hoping I draw into my L, or do I just set the R and then, you know, have an extra monster to block an attack? Like, it gets very clunky, put it that way. Am I crazy, or is Rising Light Angel SR only good in best of 3? Why is it NSR? So this card, yeah, is generally a side deck card. That is why this card existed in... Well, it's the only thing this card really has done in the modern Rush game, is a side deck card that you bring in to punish your opponent. Which is really good then. I think, realistically, this is going to be a cheese card that you try and use... like, not even now. I don't think you'd play this card now. But in the future, when people are dumping boss monsters into the graveyard on turn 1, you'll use this to try and, like, cheese a win. Not even necessarily a win. Cheese a good board state for yourself. I'm not a big fan of it, personally. You need this specific card and specific card for your hand to summon this specific card, you know. Yeah, exactly. But at the very least, they're like rituals. They have done their best to try and make them as consistent as they can. Like, a lot of the Cyberse cards specifically do just cycle you through your cards, right? Like Atron, which I think is I think it's just Atron and Quantum Hole are the only 2 we're actually getting without access to a skill. But there is a little bit there. Again, I feel like we need Craft the Drone to make Supreme Machine Magnum Overlord feel a little bit more consistent. But even then, it still won't actually be consistent. It will just be a little bit more. I'm going to have gems burning in my pocket again until we get the next box. Yes, it does suck. But at the very least, it means I will be getting more speed cards, so I can still keep building towards my Earth Machine deck, which is something. Drawing into L. Man, I feel that on a spiritual level. Yeah. So sometimes you're always just, like, you're looking for the L, right? That's just how it goes. Sometimes, you know, you want the dub, but the L is what shows up. Because the amount of times as well that you'll be playing a maximum and you'll see like all 3 middle piece and like all 3 R, and then there'll just be no L, and they're all at the bottom of your deck, and you're like, I want to play the game, and you're not, and it's just, there's nothing you can do about it. Hold this L for me, pal. But yeah, that is everything. We've gone through everything. We've done our conclusions. We've talked about stuff. I mean, I guess we could talk about some of the other stuff that like we wanted to see that we didn't see. Again, I was really hoping for some Vault Condor support, or just more thingy support in general. Oh, there's a maximum farming deck. Oh, it's exciting. But I was excited for some Vault Condor support, and the reason being that, again, we did just get the Dark Sword Magician, and Vault Condor really does feel like it has been abandoned. So I was really hoping that we were going to get this one, Lightning Bolt Kite, which I guess still could come out in the future, and we still could see more Winged Beast support come out in the future. But I really feel like, of all the decks released, Psychic and Volt Condor are the two that have been like, oh, these came out, they weren't very good, just leave them, don't worry about it. And it's just like, could we get a little bit of support for them? That would be nice, because even with the skill, it made it like sort of playable, but still not really. We still need to see more Psychic cards as well. We have all of the can stuff. I don't know if this is gonna... because the cans have like a weird name. I don't know if this is gonna bring them up. Depends how clever the search engine is. Here we go. Right, so we have Candy, which is kind of the heart and soul of the deck. It's just a 100-100, but all the other effects work around it. We get some more boss monsters like Can ID. We get some fusions that we'll get eventually. Again, they might just wait until all the fusions come out to use them. But like some of these cards are actually pretty good and would make Psychic like kind of playable. Do you think Komani will be giving us more free packs and decks for Rush? I mean, it's hard to tell, right? Maybe in a sense they will to try and build hype for the maximum stuff. That wouldn't surprise me. They gave us 10 free packs of all of the other packs we've had so far, right? We got 10 free packs of Seven's New Road, and we got 10 packs of Heavy Metal, so maybe. Hello, Goldo. Welcome on in. We had just finished talking about all the new cards that were revealed. We were just talking about the new event that we've got coming out with Nail. We were talking about the new box that we know is coming out in a little bit. And we were talking about the leaks and some of the new dinosaur cards that we'll be getting, as well as all of the new skills. We've just come to the end of that, which means we're probably going to do the unthinkable and actually play the game. I know, it sounds weird, it sounds crazy. We do it on stream sometimes. But what we actually want to do first is we want to play a game with the new maximum stuff. So we're going to jump in as Nail and actually just play with the new maximum cards. So we can actually get a look at them, see how they feel, see how hard we brick. And obviously I assume this NPC is going to be really easy. So this might be a bit like boring from that perspective. They just keep summoning everything in attack mode, but... what's the boy? And you know, because we're doing a show-off duel, we've got to have the voice lines on. Make sure to check the card trader for Urubi. Yeah, we'll check it in a minute, but I don't think it's reset yet. How are we feeling about the Beast and Aqua engines still viable? I think, depending on the deck you're playing, they will be. But like, I don't think like Pure Cyburst, for example, will necessarily be able to fit them in. I mean, maybe the Aqua engine is a lot smaller. What is our skill? What do we have here? We have Maximum Ragnarok. So this is the weaken monsters or make them 2 tributes. I could summon you out, then use the skill. Get this out, summon. Yeah, that might be the play. So we'll summon this. Activate our skill. I don't think we need this right now. Don't need it on top either. So I'm going to target you, and I'm going to target you. And I'm going to tribute. Oh, we get do we get an animation? No, we don't. Okay, that's fine. Then we'll summon out the Atron. Ah, no, we needed that in the grave. Okay, that's fine. We don't need to use that. I wanted to use his effect, but I forgot it needs to be the only monster in your field. We can't use this because we don't have enough Cyburst monsters in the graveyard, which is also fine. Woo woo woo. How are we feeling about Beast Gear and still viable? Then I can't believe it, but yesterday I had an opponent hit me with Dark Magic Attack when I had 3 set traps, literally Harpy Feather Dust Beam Rush. That's actually been not too uncommon, to be honest. Just because I think since Widespread Ruin came out, a lot of people have started going onto the Dark Magician deck just to have access to a Harpy's Feather Duster. Maximum Summon gives 600 points for the end score. Wow, a whopping 600, eh? Well, so this is where things get a little bit funky, right? Because if I want to summon up my maximum here, which I kind of do, I've got too many like cards in hand, so I'm actually gonna start changing everything to defense mode. We'll let him attack over us, and we'll try and get out our max, because I want to summon out Yogdrago, right? Just summon Magnum Overlord against Nail with the event skill. Nice! Oh no, all of my monsters. Be interesting to see if we do get any of the outer space stuff as well, because this is something I could see coming out as a like weird little event thing. Oh, we just hard summon it. So when there are 4 monsters in your graveyard, what to do? Add Magnum. So we could just add all of Magnum Overlord to our hand as well. Yeah, sure, why not? All right, we just got both maximums in hand. You know, which one should we summon? I'll tell you what we'll do. We're gonna make it. We'll go for this one first. Maximum summon. Here it comes. Yogdrago, the Sky Emperor. You just get insta maximum. I mean, we have the event skill, which added these 3 to our hand. But now we can activate our skill. We'll pop this. Now, should we just maximum summon again? Let's do it. Let's just maximum summon over it. Let's see the other animation both times in one game. And now, we can activate the effect of R, send top card of it to the graveyard, and then gain attack equal to the level of one of his monsters, so we'll choose his level 5. Wah wee woo wah wee! Oh boy. It's gonna be a lot of damage. 2000. Boom. There we go, that's maximums. Metal Gear Rising when you max summon, exactly. I remember the first Yogdrago. Oh, we have an ad break. We'll wait until that finishes before we continue on. Just 15 more seconds. Right, we'll go check the card trader. That'll probably be our next goal. But I don't think he'll have updated yet. No, he hasn't updated. Unfortunately, no Urubi just yet. But I remember the first Yogdrago reveal being so cool in the anime. Yeah, it was. It was. Because they have this big thing where Yuga is the creator of Rush Duels. And he just has like a little section that he just left out. And he was like, yeah, I just want someone else to make something for Rush Duels and put their own thing in. And Nail does it himself. He programs it in. He designs maximum summon and just puts it in. And Yogdrago was this such overwhelming force that just comes out and completely destroys Yuga. It was such a cool moment. Yes, for the event, it will not be a normal skill. Oh, okay, I was going to say it's bullshit. Metal Gear Rising 7, yeah. And that is everything basically for maximums and Rush for today. Again, we haven't really got any new cards to play with. So we're just going to be jumping into some speed ranked. I mean, we're in Legend. Getting to Legend 3 even would be really nice. Looks like we've got some people trailing behind us. But yeah, I think we're just going to hop in. Oh, it feels really underwhelming to be super excited about all this maximum stuff, having all this news, having everyone in, having a big chat about it, being able to discuss all these really cool maximum things. And then it's like, yeah, but you haven't got anything to actually do with that. So you can play with like your 3 new cards that doesn't even work. Like what? Literally, Astron doesn't do anything. That's a little bit deflating. But like we say, on Thursday, hopefully we'll have access to our Harpy Lady cards, and then we will definitely try and jam those. Oh, Shiranui, this is probably not going to go well for us. We should also probably turn all this back off so we can actually play the game. Let's turn the character lines off. Okay. Well, we return. We have to send Nightmare. We'll go Bear. So you have a reaction here, of all places. Right, let's go Toy Bender. We'll discard Wand. That's not bad. Okay, we have a lot of options here. I guess we'll go Harp. Bring out Symbol. This is where things get a little bit funky because I don't have... We have one target left for this. Right, we'll just normal summon out Bear. Just going to go straight into Galatea. Pog today. Oh yeah, I don't think so somehow. Also saw the new Yggdrago stuff for IRL Rush. Space Yggdrago, the new fusion, and the gaming chair. Yeah, the Space Yggdrago stuff looks absolutely insane. I absolutely love just all of it. Alright, we'll go Nightmare here, because I just want to put Nightmare back in the grave. Send this to grave. I think we are going to... Oh, that was a mistake. I guess we want this back in the deck anyway, because we can get it back out using thingy. But yeah, that was a mistake. We shouldn't have done that way. Now we'll go World Wand. Yeah, we will just go into everyone's favourite. Who doesn't love a bit of Decode Talker? And we'll go Symbol Skeleton. Bring back Galatea. Activate that bell. Then we'll go into Ding. And we will reattach Skeleton. Now, I don't think this board actually beats Shiranui, like, at all, but we're going to do what we can. Oh yeah, they made the gaming chair card. Who doesn't love the gaming chair card? Alex, again, getting a deck with best artworks for character draft. I mean, yeah, that happens. Krusty Camper comes in gifting a sub. This is what Krusty does. He shows up, drops a couple of gift subs, and then just disappears into the night. Oh boy, if you're discarded... Okay, there's no reason to do anything with that. But thank you so much, Krusty, for the sub. Always, always appreciate it. Hope you're having a lovely day. I know you've been really busy lately. Still a little while before we're meeting up, actually, isn't it? Here comes another one. Krusty Camper. The resubscription. Thank you so much. What a mad lad. Just comes in, triggers all of the exciting music. It's on a streak! You have to do this as well when I'm playing like a big oh, there we go. There's another gift. Thank you again, Krusty. You know I really do appreciate it. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to us actually meeting up again. Have a great time. Man, you just come in, just throwing all the subs around. And you give it to Dragan as well. Alright, we'll see you when I see you, Krusty. Yes, we will stop that. Just gonna use Squire. Is your discard? Okay, that's fine. Goes for Spectral. Okay, one changes battle positions. What have we got next? Fortunately, Gnomes doesn't do anything to us. He's ending his turn? Oh, there's no reason to not do this. Right, can we just draw a monster? That is the best monster we could have drawn. No, again, gnomes does nothing to me. I do not mind. Normal summon. Use the effective dog. Okay, I guess here we'll take sabers. Do we pop the back row? Is that the play here? Probably. The issue is I'd have to use this. Oh no, that's still fine. We'll go 1, 2. Summon out Phoenix. Phoenix effect. Let's see what this is. Okay, it was Samsara, which is fine. You take no damage, that's fine. Spirit Master effect. I mean, yeah, we're just going to stop that. And we'll just use Symbol Skeleton. Bring this back. And we can't kill anyway, so we might as well just attach. Then we'll just clear everything. Can I not attack this, or am I just... I'm just really misclicking a lot. Alright, so he's got... Yeah, gnomes being meta is... I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Against any type of meta where Xyz or Synchro are very, very prevalent. It's always going to be really, really good. Okay, here's Solitaire, and then just gives up. Okay, we'll take it. We'll take the win. Definitely not going to argue the call. And now we go again. I'm just super happy that the graveyard bug has been fixed, to be honest, because the graveyard bug really messes my deck up, like, so hard. Going second again. No, wait, we went first last time. We went second to the Rush Duel. Otherwise Dimension, okay. This hand is not a bad going second hand. Definitely say that. We didn't even get any Apologems for that, which is actually insane. I do not know how they can make the game borderline unplayable for half the decks in the game. And then just not even be like... I honestly thought the bug was so bad, they should have turned the game off. Right, they should have just taken the game down, emergency maintenance, 4 hours later bring it back up. But apparently that's not deemed enough of a reason to do so. And the fact they didn't give us anything at all is actually just insulting. Oh, that's a hand. Right, let's go Edge and Persist. Open you. Open you. We will activate Bear. Get out the vendor. Flip over the vendor. Summon the dog. Dog effect. Grab out wings. Activate vendor. Discard wings. Activate wings. Bodish. Draw another card. Activate the effective toy vendor. Take sheep. Special sheep. Sheep effect. Log back the hand. Bring back chain. Then we don't have like a ton of super great options. I mean, we could just go for an extra discard. That doesn't actually do anything though. Whatever we make is just going to be sitting here. We can pop, so we just need to get a direct attack in. I guess we'll do this. We'll activate your effect. Put this back on top. Bring this out. Then we're going to link into this. Bring out decode. Chain effect. Gets me the fusion. Activate fusion. Go into this using 1 and 2. Summon out the tiger. Tiger effect. Go for that. And that. Swing. And swing. We didn't even get any apologens. Plim plim plon. Where/how were you able to test the nail deck? So if you do the event, and if you rank past the first like part of it, right? Because there's like the chapters. If you get to chapter 2 and chapter 3 at the start of them, you can play against one of the event duelists, which will be Seat Bastion and whatever the noodle chick's called, Noodlina Cestelina, whatever it is. Anyway, you can choose to use either a Yuga Machine Magnum Overlord deck, or you can use a nail deck. Let's go again. Mizar, our little win streak might be coming to an end here. Oh, I'm on a rank up game. I've thrown into a Mizar now. Profound sadness. Going first, we always lose these. Okay. Right, let's activate Bear. Bring back Vendor. Flip this over. Do we go dog first? I think we do go dog first because I do not want to hit either of my... Has he got Veiler? Is he going to Veiler this, of all things? Okay, that's actually kind of fine. Because, like, we have a good, like, OTK setup. We do not have a good anything else set up, so... We'll discard Wings, draw that. Unfortunately, it's the wrong one. Now, obviously, it's going to be really difficult to get a discard. Oh, there's the discard. Now we just need... Nah, that's not it, unfortunately. That is disappointing. I guess there's not really much more we could have done anyway. So we'll grab this. We'll activate the skill. Put this back. We'll put this back. We don't have anything to do off that. We could use that to get an extra body out. Unfortunately, I think we're dead no matter what we do. We just have to pass. We didn't see any of the Orca stuff we needed. Probably a bad Miser since they aren't Cog yet. Yeah, but they're good enough to get into Legend. That's the issue. And we didn't see... Like, we saw the only Orcust monster that... Well, I guess also World Wand, but that's not an Orcust monster. If we had gotten Symbol Skeleton or... Not Symbol Skeleton. If we'd gotten... God, what's this called? I already completely forgot what it's called. The other Orcus cards. Nightmare or... Harp Horror. That's the one, Harp Horror. If we'd gotten either of them, we could have got into our combo, but... Unfortunately, Symbol Skeleton does not do combo. We're almost certainly just dead. We're going to wait and see until he's actually got lethal. Yeah, he's got more than enough just to kill us. Thank you for the follow, Pro Monarchist. Speaking of monarchs, there are monarchs in Rush Duel, and some of them are Cyburst monsters, and Nail does use them in the event at the moment if you play against them. Why did you take Transmigration instead of... It's just scared of the back row? Is he going to send the back row? That'd be funny. Yeah, the bluff. No Treeborn Frog in Rush though, sad. I mean, no Treeborn Frog yet. I mean, realistically, it's probably never coming, but we can dream. Yeah, so he has more than lethal just on board, so we'll just give up that. So he did use the Veiler kind of wrong, but it didn't matter because we didn't have any other way to get any more cards anyway. Which is a bit of a shame. There are a lot of times where Veilering there does completely stop our play, but we had a hand that it didn't matter, so... Alright, this is also going to be an awkward matchup for us. These Speedroids are very good. We're going second, so we have to... I don't know if we can beat this going second. I'll have to wait and see what he does. Clear Wing Acceleration. Dice to Grave. Then we'll summon Yo-Yo. Which one is Yo-Yo? Okay, so Yo-Yo just gets that dice, okay. Let's see what you've got for us. Here comes out the dice. Going to use dice effect to manipulate our levels. That looks like a clear wing to me. Tune the monsters together into a clear wing synchro dragon. There's no way he doesn't end on Crystal Wing and Clear Wing, right? Problem is, my deck is all monsters, so that really stops me from playing the game. Comes Tacket on board. Use its effect. Uki Modoshi Piper. Tacket on board or win. This song is from FF102. That is correct, RPG Prince. Of course, the Prince of RPGs would know. One day, I'm going to steal someone's Clear Wing and use its effect against them. Clear Wing isn't even the problem, it's Crystal Wing that's the problem. Like, Clear Wing you can kind of work around. Like, it entirely works around levels. So if you just don't summon monsters with levels, you just don't have to deal with it. This guy is the pain in the ass. When another effects monster is activated, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. And if you do that, this card gains attack equal to destroy monster's original attack to the end of this turn. And then if it battles a level 5 or higher monster your opponent controls, during damage calculation, you gain attack. But this is just a once per turn monster negate. See, the problem we have is I need to summon this and use its effect, or the game just ends. Because we don't have access to a second discard. But it's not going to resolve. So we just die. Alternatively, I could just set this. But then there's no way he doesn't kill us, right? Like, there's no way. I think we set. And then pass, you know. The fact he has a reaction here means he's probably got like a compulse or something. But I think the best chance we have is just he doesn't manage to kill us here. And then we can actually play the game next turn. Because even if our cards get negated, we'll still have access to a monster. Because I think the problem is if we summon Dog and he just uses Clear Wing in response, we just lose. Like we have no other play. We have no discard outlet. Crystal Wing then, I can't remember the names though. Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, Clear Wing is still an annoying card. It's just it doesn't really do much against XEs and Link monsters. Mind you, if he didn't even have the negate, like the play is still what? Dog, bear, discard, get Toy Vendor, discard Harp. Harp goes basically full combo. We even have an extra body in Sheep. We still don't have access to Frightful Fusion. But... Right, how big is this guy? We're making just another Synchro. Okay, okay. As is, all he has to do is change this to attack mode and he is lethal. But there's a chance he doesn't. Nah, he's doing it. Yeah, that's just game. So I could have used Orchestrated Babble, but then the second I use Harp Horror from Grave, he just negates it anyway. So, like, there's nothing I can do there. I see we are getting Sherry. Should Baron be limit 1 or skill locked in Sherry skill? I mean, I just think we're not going to get Baron. I think that's the beginning and end of it. I think if we do, it would be very, very weird. Be very, very weird. Oh, just knock the microphone. This hand is funky. This hand doesn't do anything. Right, we start... Because we could... Right, if we go Vendor, that still doesn't get us anywhere. Because we don't have a discard. So I think we just hard activate Vendor here. And we desperately just need this to hit an Orcus card. I mean... That does things. It's just nothing too useful. It's like I can do a really sick play for next turn. We haven't used that yet, actually, so we could just take Wings. I think we always just take Wings here. Then we go Bear. There goes Vendor. Flip over the second Vendor. Activate the second Vendor. Discard the Wings. That sorts us out a treat. Now, do we need to do this in a specific order is the next question. Alright, we are going to special summon this out in defense. That is step 1 of the plan. Step 2 of the plan is we now lock ourselves by using Nightmare. We're doing it this way because we don't want to draw into the cards we're trying to search out. So now we'll send Harp. We'll then activate Harp. Bring out Symbol. Then we're going to go into U by using U and U. Then here we'll go... I think we're going to go World Wand. We'll bring back Nightmare. So we can still use that in a minute. I think here, I'm just going to go for this, using U and U. Bring it out, the old decode. Then we're going to use Symbol Skeleton. Bring back Galatea. Then I'm going to activate Galatea. We're going to put back World Wand. Get out the Babble. Now that we've done all that, we can happily use wings. Banish, banish. Send this to grave. Toy vendor effect. We will grab out Edge Imp Sabers. Activate our skill. Send Sabers. Send this. Then normal dog. Activate the effect of sheep. Put this back. Bring this back. Then I'm gonna go into this. Use its effect. Attach this. Then I'm gonna make long. Grab this to hand. Flip this over. What do we have in here currently? It's just him. Yeah, that's fine. Right, we'll pass on that. Alright. We have Baron at home. The little version. Okay, that's fine. I will allow the summon. What I might do here is turn this on. So when he tries to enter the battle phase. Or when he tries to... Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. This is also fine. Go into Super Dreadnought. But we'll do this now. Get rid of this. I didn't need to bring this out now. That was actually a little bit silly. Because now we can negate. And I don't have the thing to attach. We kind of jumped the gun a bit there. We don't have anything in here to attach, so... Yeah, we've misplayed this really bad, and we're probably going to get punished for it. Yeah, we had this, and now we've thrown it away so hard. All we had to do was not use... we needed skeleton though. Maybe. Maybe there was a world in which we won here. I mean, he still needs another body, right? Which, yeah, of course he's got it. Of course he's got it. What I should... I mean, there was even another play I could have made. I could have banished the... the Nightmare to get an extra card to attach to Dingirsu. There are, like, so many things I could have done better here. We should have had an easy win here, but now we've probably... Still have to wait and see what he actually does. Like, this was such a free win. It's just such a shame. Does this target? Target, yeah, so... Now we just negate this. which is fine. Aren't we still just like super fine here though? We'll target you. How did he throw this bad? How, like, we misplayed, and then he's just given us the win. Alright, I guess we'll play around everything. We'll just drop the Frightfur Fusion just to be sure. Go, dog, go! Bite his face! Alright, well, after that embarrassing play from us, we still managed to somehow win the game. And we will take it. We will just straight up take it. I do have Herald in my Gear Free deck, which has been nice. Which Herald are we talking about? Like, Herald of Barone? Whenever someone says Herald to me, I always think, like, Herald of Ultimateness. And I'm always like, oh god, not again! I don't want to go back! Legend 1 from the UK. Now, we've always had an unfortunate record of whenever we play against people from the UK, they're either playing Dark Magician, they're playing Eternal Bond, or they're playing Ra. And by the look at the fact this is Jaden, I'm thinking this is going to be an Eternal Bond. Yep, it's an Eternal Bond. Straight in with the Neos Fusion. Arclight. Alright, Herald of the Arclight. I have mixed feelings about Herald of the Arclight. 2 back row. That's a little bit annoying. Alright, let's start with our skill. Let's dump and dump. Then we're going to summon that dog. Attempt to use dog effect. See who does anything here. So we don't need bear. We could just take sheep. Bear doesn't actually get us anything. Wings kind of gets us somewhere, but it depends if his back row stop us is the issue. Let's get greedy. Let's get greedy and see what happens. This is super, super greedy, by the way. Because now we don't have a discard for Harp. That's pretty good. But now I can... How do I want to do this? If I use that, then I can't do that. So we want to use this first. I need to get him into grave. Can't get him into grave in the current state. Alright, we'll use sabers. Pop this to the top. Bring this out. So now the question is, do we just link into this, or do we go straight for that? If we link into this and it gets stopped, that does kind of hurt. So I'm actually tempted to just go straight in with this. And then to the graveyard, I guess... It's you, right? No, I could send you. Yeah, you're actually way better. Now we use Harp. I feel like my brain is like slowly melting right now. Like my thought processing is just getting so much slower. Alright, so now we'll go into you by using you. And I guess you. Why did I do that? I already know that's the wrong play because I needed to get dog in graveyard. That was the whole point of going for this link play. Oh well. We'll use Galatea. We'll put Nightmare back. We'll grab out Babel because we're going to want that either way. Unless we OTK here. Right, let's go into Decode. I mean, MST's fine. That kind of doesn't really matter unless there's another turn. But now we'll go Wings. Banish Dog. That is a really weird draw, because I did just shuffle the deck. And I guess we take you, right? Dog doesn't get us anything here, so... So now we're going to go Bear. Bear gets us Vendor. Flip over Vendor. Activate it. Send and draw. Or flip over. We can't special summon. So now we are just going to drop Frightful Fusion, I think. I'm going to go for the double pop, and then we'll go into the thingy line. We'll go 1, we'll go 2. We're going to bring this out here in case we need to send it to the graveyard to stop a target. Use the Affected Tiger. We have to pop Kluger, and then he'll summon out the Wiseman, then we'll send the Wiseman. Hey, Alpaca. Super Poly. Okay, Super Poly here is... This is fine, right? Into Escradio. Now we just go Symbol. Bring back Galatea. Go into Ding. Ding effect. Goodbye. Battle phase. Swing in. Swing in. Nice. Been a while. Yeah, it has, Alpaca. Oh, but you're always welcome in here. New Rush box seems interesting. Yeah, we had like an hour-long chat about it earlier, mate. You missed it. I mean, it'll be in the VOD. But yeah, we went over the box, we went over all the new skills, all the leaks, the stuff we were excited for, who we thought were the winners, who we thought were the losers. I think the real big winners are definitely going to be the Royal Rebels. Ahoy! Looking forward to the new Rush box, especially that Machine Maximum. Also, do you think the Royal Rebel card finds a slot in the deck, or is it too cost intensive? So Taisuru, depends what we're talking about. If we're talking about the new boss monster, because of the skill that we're getting along with it, it's going to be super crazy good. The skill changes all of your opponent's face down monsters face up, and then makes them all, unless they're a maximum, makes them all level 4 or lower, which means it just wipes your opponent's entire board, which is insane. So, I didn't see a new skill. Yeah, you've got if you go to DLM, it's in the leak section, and it's called, God, what is it even called? We have got it here. I mean, I could just bring it up again. Might as well just do that. It is called Hell Tuning Invasion. This skill can be used if the only monsters with 1400 or more attack in your deck are light attribute fiend type monsters. One card from your hand to the graveyard. All monsters on either field become face-up attack position at the end of the turn. The level of all level 4 or lower fiend type monsters on your field becomes 5, which means you can now just use them to summon out your guys and get their effects off. And the level of all level 5 or higher monsters on your opponent's field decreased by 4, which is bonkers because you can now wipe your opponent's entire board. And if your opponent does summon out a maximum, you can use Heavy Metal to just kill the maximum and gain like 3,000 or like 4,000 attack, like 3,400 to 4,000, which is absolutely bonkers. Now, we don't know when we're getting this or how we're getting this, but it looks like we are getting it. This is the second time we've seen it, and it's had like a little update. It's got like a name now, so presumably we are getting this. Now let's be real. What we're really looking forward to is Harpy's Pet Dragon. I don't know about that, mate. Harpy's Pet Dragon is fine. It's fine. 2500 defense is good. 2000 attack is mid. Its effect is okay, right? Being able to get potentially like 3800 attack, that's not bad, right? It's not bad. I imagine we'll get it in the mid-March Rower repeat event. Yeah, but the issue is that they were showing, because we don't actually have it here, but there was like the weird like Fiend times Psychic skill that I think a lot of people were predicting we were going to get. But again, it's not here, so maybe they've just like gotten rid of it. But yeah, the new cards, the most important card we're getting though is Super King Rex. It's just, let's face it, Super King Rex it's meta defining. It is unbelievably powerful. Look at just the presence this card has, right? Look at that cheeky grin on that dinosaur. Nah, man, Harpy meta, trust. I would like to see Harpies do well. I just don't know if they will. Now we will get Rower Ronin skill in the rerun. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm expecting. So I don't know where this is coming from, right? Because like if we go back to in game, I think they even said in the notice, right? No, we don't care about the Cybertech Alligator bundle. Upcoming updates. Where was it? Yeah, skill Rower Roman Advance. So like, why would they announce one skill and not the other, right? So it's weird. We don't know where we're going to get it. But if we do get the skill, it will be unbelievably powerful, right? It's like we were saying, with that skill, I would say the most powerful deck going forward looks to be Warrior Rebels. Then probably Maximum Ragnarok on Cyberse. Then, again, just including new decks, probably either Harpies with Hysteric Force or Thunder with Lightning Trigger. And then I do think the weakest is looking to be the Machines, because this skill, the Maximum Overload skill, is so mid. And we're not getting any support cards for Supreme Machine Magnum Overlord yet, which is a disappointment. Now there will be big lad. Good point. Harpies I was excited for till I saw that we got a single card from the Arctic only. Yeah, I don't know why. So Harpy's Pet Dragon makes sense in the sense that you can kind of deal with maximums with it, right? Just a big guy with big attack, and then the skill lets it push it over that 4000, which means you can out maximums with it, and I guess that's the logic they were going for. But it felt like a bait and switch. Like, we knew we were getting Harpy's Pet Dragon, so we got our hopes up we get other Harpy support, and then we just didn't. So it was like, well, I kind of wanted more Harpy cards, Konami. You got my hopes up. I don't mind the skill. It working with spellcasters has made the little demo event feel pretty nice thanks to the unclogging and free Sevens Road. I don't think the skill is good enough, right? Like, it has a bunch of restrictions on it. Then, in order to use it, we have to send a maximum monster to the graveyard. Then, we can cheat out, like, Sevens Road, but, like, Sevens Road is pretty much the only thing we'll be able to cheat out with this that's worth a damn. Then, we can weaken our opponent's monster by 800, which is not a bad number, but this deck doesn't need that because you're playing Sevens Road and a maximum, so both of your big guys deal with high attack monsters anyway. During the end phase of this turn, return one maximum monster from your graveyard to the top of the deck. So, like, this is, like, a really slow, like, maximum consistency tool. I don't like it. I do not like it. I think Maximum Ragnarok just seems like just a better overall skill. Like, I actually think that if I was going... I'm going to test it out either way, right? We're going to test everything out. That's just what we do. But I think Magnum Overlord, I think I'm going to just not play with a specific skill for it. Hey, Max. How's it going? Speaking of Max, we were just talking about Maxes. Yeah, we're just revisiting all the new news that we've got. But we are actually playing with the Fluffals. We did just win a couple of games, which means I think we might actually be in a rank up game again. Let's see if we can get that. Nail is looking cool. Yeah, Nail is looking cool. Like, especially his new boss monster. Like, the actual non-maximum. What's it called? Ready for what it's called. It's called Atrashoot Hydron. Like, that card looks really good. I kind of want to build Yggdrago. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think everyone does. Like, it's so cool. Oh, we're on a rank up game. How big of an impact do you think Maximum is going to have realistically? I think it's going to have a big impact. And that is just because you can't now play a deck that just can't out Maximums, because there will just be games where your opponent just opens a Maximum and then just wins the game because you can't out it. So you now need to play cards that deal with it. Have you seen the Yggdrago summoning animation? It's pretty solid, yeah. I do quite like it. I like it a lot better than the Magnum Overlord animation. I think the Magnum Overlord animation needed to be longer. It needed to be more interesting than what we got. So we're playing against a very, very, very strong deck in our rank up game. This happened last time as well. We got to our rank up game earlier, and we played against Tachyon and just got completely blown out. And not only that, I'm glad the new Rebel skill pushes you into pure Rebels. The Red Eyes variant was neat, but I love heavily themed deck. Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I don't mind like these really interesting like hybrid decks, but when they become like the best thing in the meta, it gets a bit boring for me. Oh shit, Widespread Kingdom is over, I just realized. Yep. All the Maximums don't care. But you still have to run the card, because sometimes your opponent won't have a Maximum out. Why is there just 40 seconds of silence at the end of this? There we go. Really excited for Sherry. So next month is a Do Speedo character. Really excited for Sherry. Hope she gets to play with deck of skill. Surprised we're getting a 5Ds character. I mean, yeah. I think it's fine though, right? I don't think anyone like doesn't want a 5Ds character. I think Yggdrago was one of the first decks I tried on an online sim in Rush. That's why I'm excited to play it again. I mean, I've never actually played Yggdrago because the main way I play Rush is character draft with Alex or in tournament play. And by the time I got into playing tournaments, Yggdrago was already kind of fallen off. Just one. If you retreat your monster. How do we want to go about this? Dog will change based on what I draw. We're not normal summoning this, so I think we do just immediately fire off Orchestrated Return. Right, we'll summon out Dog. Dog effect. We'll grab out Wings. We'll activate Bear. Grab out Vendor. We'll flip over Vendor. We'll activate Vendor. Discard Wings. Babble to Grave does... it might not matter, it depends. We'll go Wings. Get rid of Bear. Yes, I would like to draw another card. See, now that's actually a bit awkward, because I didn't need Chain. So I can just send them both to Graveyard. I guess we'll just take Dog. We use the effect of our skill. Send Chain, send Sabers. We'll then special out Sheep. We use Sheep effect. Take Dog back. Bring out Chain. This is where the IDP messes us up. So in case he has IDP, we're going to immediately Shotgun Phoenix. Use the effect of Phoenix. Discard Bear because we have no more vendors anyway. Target this. And we use Chain effects. Grab Fusion. Book a Moon. Okay. Now we're going to activate Toy Vendor again. I could guarantee a special, or we could fish for a card. I think because of how many we've got left in deck, the chances we hit the usable Orcus card is quite high. There we go. So now the question is, how deep do we want to actually go here? Because we could just start diverting into a board. Right, we'll go Sabres here. Get rid of this. Bring him out. Now we'll go Horror. Bring out Nightmare. Now I guess we'll just go into Galatea. Here we're going to go Nightmare. Boost up Galatea. And I'll be sending World 1 to Grave. Then we're going to activate World Wand. Bring back Nightmare. We'll then go Galatea effect, put back World Wand. Don't get a search. Then we'll go Galatea and Egypt Sabres. We'll make Decode. Then we'll go Symbol. Bring back Galatea. Then we'll overlay into Ding. And we'll send that back row. Which is fine. So now, I could make this, but I'm a body short. I don't really want to fuse into anything. Right now, we still have protection. So I think we're fine to just pass on this, right? We'll go battle. And we'll just swing in because we can. Whoa! And we'll end. There's no reason to link anything off here. We have a negate. We have destruction prevention. We still maintain the Fright for Fusion for next turn. You don't need to run Widespread still because if you don't... you need to run Widespread Room because your deck river is going to flatten you. Yes. I mean, I have to negate this, right? I don't get a say in that. Can't just have him take in my stuff. And he's going to be gone anyway. That's a really annoying card though, because that now means he's out with that so easily. That was just his top deck. GX is 2 years apart now, however. That's fine. We'll do GX next time. Don't worry about it. So anyways, Hyla was streaming a Rush tourney last Sunday. I'm curious if you were playing it too. So I wasn't. I actually got home 5 minutes after the tournament started, so I did not have the chance to participate, unfortunately. So as a player of non-Duel Links Rush, what do you think of skills and 6k life points? Skills good, right? Skills mean that decks that struggle and were never ever played in the physical game become usable. They become somewhat powerful. I think that's a really good thing. I think 6k life points is bad. Now that's my opinion on it, just because it makes the games too quick, right? Rush is meant to be a fast format, but OTKs are a thing that does plague Rush, and it just makes OTKs more often, right? Who do we have in here? Do we have... There's no targets for you left in decks. Summoning you doesn't actually mean anything. I guess I just hard drop Frightfur Fusion then, right? What do you do? This goes for summons... That's going to protect. You got 2 zombies in Grave to Banish. I could discard, use that to send, get another body. Just waiting for our opponent to respond. I need to get that back. So we're going to summon out Dog. That's part 1 of the plan. We'll use the effective Dog, because why not? Thin out the deck a bit more. We'll grab Bear. Now I need... No matter how this goes, I need to get an Orcus card. So what I could do... I need the top card to be that. I have to put that back, then I have to discard, which doesn't work. If I use that, I discard. No matter how I do this, I think I'm boned. So I can use this. Boost this. Because the problem is that back row is probably, again, just... thingy. If we use this. Bring this back. Go 1, I go 2. If that's IDP, then we never had a chance. Nah, I didn't have the time. I mean, chances are the back row was the trap that stops me from winning anyway. So I'm not too butthurt about that, but we had too much... We couldn't see the line fast enough was the problem, because we had everything we needed. Oh well, it happens. Hope with Sherry's release we get Limit 1 Bundle Baron de Fleur. I don't know if we will, Max. I doubt we're going to get Baron. Right now, the skill I am not annoyed with... is Axel Road. Just easy search for their boss monster. I mean... It is a very powerful skill, let's be honest. But the downside is that on your opponent's turn, your board is generally very, very weak. You're very easy to get beaten over. So, like, you're very aggressive. It's very rush, right? You summon out a load of stuff, makes it really big during your turn, slam into your opponent, and then your opponent gets to crack back and wipe your entire board without much effort at all. Yes, kind of feeling. Kind of wish they'd have left the life points alone, especially with how they had to fiddle with them to make speed duels work. Yeah. Tournament. Surely I didn't misclick in Top Cut Game 3 on stream that cost me the match. Yeah, it was a shamed one. I was watching. It was very sad at the time. Fiddle with the effect damage. I mean, oops, misquote. Well, it's good you didn't do that. Be a massive L if you did. Shit happens. I really do think next month the Rush rerun events are really bad. I don't think it's going to be that bad, right? Like, it's going to be a rerun of... Oh, I've got another Tachyon. It's going to be a rerun of the Roa event, and we're going to get some new stuff. We've managed to retain our rank up game, but we're against... Oh, we're against Shiranui again. Okay. This hand is actual garbage. Does this hand do anything? Alright, I think we have to. Toy Bender. We have to use Toy Bender, discarding Frightful Fusion. This still doesn't do anything yet. We needed an Orcus card. Now we grab Wings. Activate Bear. Flip this over. But we still have our normal summon, which is really good because we don't have a discard anymore. We'll go Wings. Banish Bear. Still no Orcus cards. Feels bad, man. Okay, we can take Sheep. Special Sheep. Sheep effect. Pop this back in hand. Bring out Chain. But, like, this still doesn't really go anywhere. I could just set. I still haven't seen any other Orcus, which means our turn 1 is really bad. I could do, like, a negate. But, like, what does that actually accomplish? Next to nothing, right? I think we just set. And then pass on this, you know? It sucks, but if we don't see the Orcus side of the deck, our turn 1's always really bad. At least we're getting the 5D's Legacy event. Like, at least they're going to be out of the way. Roa event annoyed me. I don't know what specifically about Roa's event was annoying, but speed players crying about Rush gets something after 3 months of nothing. I mean, yeah, but people are always going to feel like that, right? Whenever something comes out that's not for their game. Now we get after 3 months of mini box again. Yeah. Again, it's silver lining, right? It's easier to collect all the maximum pieces. Works for me, less gems to clean out. Yeah, that's the problem. Gems expire and less cards. But again, you do get to spend those gems on speed, which is something, right? Which at the very least makes your like farming decks better. Konami will probably start putting skills in boxes. That's a hot take. That would be interesting at the very least. I'm still saving up for gems for the next speed main box. But I'll one day get back into Rush to wait for Asana to arrive. Well, I assume Asana is probably going to be the next character slash box. Gem expiring is not a problem. You haven't been farming any. I just don't like his voice. I kind of hate it. But is that the English or the Japanese? Because, right, first off, I don't really want to like badmouth any voice actors myself. But I've always watched the show in Japanese. I have the Japanese voices on. Nail deck I'll build eventually. I still have around 20k, plus we get 1k for the new box, so exactly enough for 3 main boxes. I mean, yeah. Both, actually. I mean, that's fair enough. It's entirely going to be subjective, right? It's your own personal opinion. But I don't mind his Japanese voice, and I don't think I've heard his English voice, so I don't really have an opinion on it. I love the English Rush voices. They're so funny. I really don't like Yuga's voice. Yuga's voice just does not work for me at all in English. I think the rest of them are kind of okay, but Yuga's just feels weird. Yuga has like a really serious kind of deep-ish voice in Japanese, and in English it's like, hey guys, let's do a Rush duel. I'm just like, no, please stop. I will use the effect of Toy Vendor. I don't have any more tailenders in my deck, so I guess I'll just take another dog. Luke's voice is so cringe. I mean, like I said, I don't listen to it very often, so I couldn't tell you. His Japanese is better. Yeah, I think a lot of the Japanese voices are better, but you know, I'm just a big ass weeb, so I'm always gonna have a very specific perspective. Luke being cringe owns, I love him. Right, well, Vampire Suckers hit the board. Shiranui style successor. It's when he does the streaming sound, Dragorite! He's just happy. He's so excited. I have audio turned off so I don't have to put up with the voices. I mean, that is also fair enough. He sounds gnarly when he spells it. Straight from somber tunes into something a bit jazzier. I prefer Japanese voices too, though BR dubs are usually pretty good. I can't say I've ever listened to the BR dubs, so I don't have an opinion on that whatsoever. Ironically though, Nail has the best voice so far in the game out of all of the Seven's characters. He is very fitting. I mean, he's just meant to sound very, like, monotone. I can do either, depends on the media, with something more comedy-focused like Seven's. I prefer English. That's fair enough. Am I dead? I don't play enough Shiranui to know if I'm already dead or not. I like to think this, like, tier 1 meta threat can deal with my board. Considering I've made, like, nothing. It's going to be interesting when the Luke Man releases. I mean, who doesn't love the Luke Man? We've already got his ace card. Oh no, my face down Fluffal dog got popped. I don't know how, like, combo intensive the Shiranui deck is, but I feel like I should be dead. Supremacy comes down. And Sari back row. Oh yeah, I had to discard it, didn't I? Things aren't looking great. Behold, normal summon, symbol skeleton. Yes, Book of Moon. The game is over. What's this? Special summon it. Oh, when it's summoned, it pops monsters, isn't it? Oh no? Okay. We'll go Sabers. I really don't need anything. We'll just put this in. Econ. Yeah, I've got nothing else. Ah, it's a shame. I think if we'd been able to build our board, we could have beaten that, but again, we just didn't see any of our Walker's cards. The barrier. But yeah, I'll be waiting for the Rush stream tickets to come. I haven't really touched 7th anime in a while. I think the last thing I watched was Yuga versus the Machine Girl. That one Machine Girl. Can't think who that is. I think you just love Solitaire Links. I'm just catching up on Go Rush. We'll take the win. We will take the win. I want a second Dragius. Everyone wants a second Dragius. Dragius is obviously like meta warping meta threat. When he pulled the Mirror Dude plus Type Change Beam combo out of his ass, what a specific thing to have in your deck. The Mirror Dude is really good though. Just came to the point. Equipped spells are celebrated like a ultra strong new summoning mechanic. Yes, that does happen, and it is very silly. Right, we're both on a rank up game. This is exciting. We're probably gonna lose. We're going first, and our hand looks somewhat playable. Right, let's go with our skill. Send. If we discard this, we don't actually have anything. I need to discard and then just hope I get something summonable, right? That's the only play I have. I need to just draw. No. We don't summon that. So I need to use its effect. Grab this out. Then we'll go wings. There. We are like just finding exactly like the bare minimum we need to play the game. We haven't normal summoned yet, so we take dog. We'll hard activate return here. Okay, that's pretty good. Now we summon dog. We take sheep. God, I have so much reading to catch up on in a sec. Alright. Summon out sheep. Activate sheep. Put dog back to hand. Summon out chain. We don't really have anything else we need to do here, so I will just activate Vendor. Do we go for a special with Vendor? We don't need to. Alright, we'll go Nightmare now. Send Harp. We'll go Harp effect. Bring out Symbol. Then we'll go for Galatea by using Symbol and Chain. This gets us to fight for Fusion. Then we'll go Sabers. We'll put Babble back on top. Then we'll activate Galatea. This back. Set Babble. Then here we'll go Toy Vendor. I guess I'll just send this, right, just to guarantee it. That works. So now we're going to go into Decode using 1, 2. Out you come, Decode. Then we go Symbol. Bring back Galatea. We overlay into Ding. We attach this back. Then we're going to use World Wand. We'll bring back Harp Horror. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Into Long. We'll flip this up. And we'll end it there. Because this way, we have a myriad of options before us. They should have made speed exclusive cards, but for Duel Links and IRL game both. Complaining Yu-Gi-Oh! Feels pointless though. I do agree, honestly, at this point. think for the first time, rush meta is better than speed. Yeah, it's like complaining to politicians they're never going to listen and do whatever they want. I think the current speed is not as much fun as it used to be. It was in a fantastic place before Tachyon came out, right? And I think Tachyon is still a really cool deck. It's just, it became too powerful, right? Struggling with off-meta games. I don't know what any of this does. We're just going to let him do his thing. We don't have time to read it all. And to nerf the OP skills, more close to the TCG. Territory of the Sharks. I have no idea what this does. For the first time, you can make skills decks playable without breaking them. Tachyon skill broke the game. I still think no main phase 2 makes different meta still. I mean, yeah. And Shira's 2. Anymore. When a player's monster declares an attack, you can attach one next season's card, or just at the end of the term. It's going to destroy a battle or card effect sent to the graveyard. I got one other card in your graveyard, summon it. Okay, that's fine. Goes to battle phase. Go symbol, bring this back. Then I'm going to activate this as well. Put both of these back. I don't need to do that. Not yet. I'm going to send this. I'm going to bring this out. What does this do? And that's a ranker! Yay! I mean, we'll take it. We will take it. Would be nicer for Duel Links is to have more events to earn gems and rewards. I mean, yeah, it would obviously be fantastic, right? Our maximums also going to come to Go Rush Anime. They are in Go Rush, I can tell you that much. I don't want to give you too many spoilers, but yes, they are in Go Rush in the Japanese. No main phase 2 is still huge, and also not every new card new to come, but making them limit 1 makes it massive difference. Yes, 100%. The way that Duel Links has set up its ban list completely changes deck building, and it is so interesting. But it does create some other weird problems, where I would almost like to see both versions of ban lists incorporated, where you have both this card can only be played at 1 copy, whilst also having this is choice limited 1, which is something that they do in the Vanguard card game. Later in the seasons are like heroes with 4 activations in 1 turn. What the fuck is that about? That's basically 4 free cards. 5, if you could being able to summon Neos with that tribute. I mean, yeah. Eternal Bond is its entire own thing, right? I think Konami needs to tone down multiple skill activations. That's it. I think, yeah, it does overcomplicate the game, but I think they feel like they need to do that to keep the more Unga Bunga depths kind of in check. But yeah, I agree as well. The Neo skill will still be good if you can only activate 1 per turn. They just need to give restrictions to some certain skills. Just make a no skill format at this rate. I mean, that is another thing we can do. I'd love to see also a rush like tournament with no skills. That'd be interesting. Summoning Neos without a tribute is pretty powerful. I'm fine with summoning without tribute skills. That's the irony. The skills take away with skill, so we technically do have a no skill format. This is the no skill format. You believe some people. I think meta is fixable. I mean, always, 100%. Hello there. Are you prepared for more Rush content? Hello, Sakadetsu. Yes, we had a big talk about all of the new stuff. We went over it all, gave my thoughts, feelings, and opinions about all of it earlier at the beginning of the stream. I think it's simple. They need to look at how they designed skills before. Good decks just don't need good skills. Yeah, I think I agree. I think skills usually push anime decks more than anything. I think Konami should give us an archive skill ticket that lets us convert any skill to an archive skill so you can do it with any character. Yeah, that gets into another weird area though where, to some people, seeing the character you're against does give you a lot of information, so it would take that away. I think Eternal Bond would be fine if it was either the U-Bell Dance or the Search. Not both, yes. That skill is just annoying. But it's not too bad to out, it's just it's everywhere. Or at least it's not too bad to out for my deck. Yeah, it should be either, and I'm saying that as a U-Bell player. Do I need 3 Light Sorcerer of Sanctity for the Spellcaster deck? If you want it to be top power, I would say yes. Light Sorcerer of Sanctity is such a powerful card that just having more copies of it is generally better, and it does combo with itself, so... But you don't need it, just if you want it to be better, I would say yeah. Konami are going for 100% consistency though, because no doubt too many people complain to them that they can't win with their deck. I mean, yeah, that's always going to happen. I can't wait for Harpies. What we get, I can ignore everything. So Harpies, unfortunately, aren't getting very much. They're going to be playable. I don't know how good they're going to be. I hate Harpies. They just need to let their deck stay in the past. Poor Harpies. I get that a lot of people really hated it, especially when Cyber Slash was a menace in Duel Links, though. The ideal skill for your deck, boost and not play it for you. There are so many other decks that haven't had a chance to shine in Duel Links. Yeah, which is a big shame. We need less free cards, but they keep reviving the same tired old decks like Shiranui again. I don't mind them bringing back things like Shiranui. What I mind is if they bring it back in a way that pushes it to be this like unstoppable monster deck, right? I think it's fine to have them sit around like a tier 2, tier 3 place and just exist as like a playable rogue strategy. But when it becomes unbelievably overwhelming, I think that's when you have like a big problem, right? It's annoying when skill becomes even stronger than Pot of Greed in pure card advantage. I mean, yeah, especially like the Shiranui skill and the Mayakashi skill that just like vomit loads of stuff into the graveyard just feel really weird as well. How many Shiranui metas have we had now? Just 2. Well, a stronger Pot of Greed because you get the exact cards you need, not the top 2 from your deck. I mean, that is a good point. Harpies have maximum summons, so for me is enough for Rush. This is the 3rd at least on Harpies and Rush. But my questions stay, where's support for Beast Gear? I mean, yeah, I don't know what Konami's doing with Beast Gear. Maybe they're going to wait and bring out all the modern support that they get. Never mind, I thought you meant speed. I mean, yeah. In Rush, they're coming out. They're going to be fine. Nah, Harpies on Rush. I know how much cards we missed on Duel Links, but I don't want them yet. We don't need any more speed Harpy support. They had their day. I mean, you know we're going to get more. But you know they're coming. I got to say, had a great speed match, and now I can't get over it. What do you mean by that, Dragson? You enjoyed a speed game so much? Oh, we played against a YouTuber. YJ YouTube. I don't know who that is. No, I have no idea. YJ is too generic a name, unfortunately. Bro, ironically, I enjoyed the Harpy meta. I mean, if you're playing it, you know, if you're the one playing Harpies. The year of the Harpy was amazing. Maybe your game will be on their channel. I mean, probably not. They lost, didn't they? So they probably don't want that. I was wondering whether they were playing Sharks, though. It's pretty cool. Harpies were meta for a year, you guys remember that. So I was actually playing during that time. So I completely missed that. Oh, but with that, is there anyone for us to raid into? Because it has come to 3 o'clock and I have got other stuff to do today. Are there any other English-speaking Duel Links tubers about? We've got Portugal, Korea. I guess we could raid into Exuro Universe. Raid into him a couple of times before. He's a nice enough lad. But let's start that raid as we go to end. So, oh, goodbye camera. Thank you all so much for watching. We've had a great time. And again, we got to do a lot of chatting. Basically, this was mostly a chatting stream. But we will be back on Thursday for some content. We should have Harpies by then. That is the hope. We will have, at the very least, the Harpy Maximum cards. And if we do, we will be jamming some Rush Duels on Thursday. That's what we're going to be going for. So, hopefully I'll see a lot of you there. And we will see you when we see you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we really don't want that. Hey, Tomato. Thanks for the raid. What's up?